You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM. The most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Is Alberto up in London? Tell me, reaching east does do things. Vikey, we don't plan with any philosophy when we acting daily. Other nations have a plan to follow. Yesterday's thought becomes law tomorrow, but things that's happening Trinidad and Tobago, just so. He says just so. Look, the Antec does shed their load and cut off your current pole, just so. Just so. Water does dig up the road and leave you with a big pothole. Just so. Just so. A Muslim group say they're planning terrorism there, just so. And just so. And they link manning with Al-Qaeda, you know. And yesterday some school children beat up police woman, as you know. Just so. Just so. Just so. He tell me just so. Look, 2 drops of cocaine climb inside Sadiq Bash water tank. Just so. Alive. Go back. Yeah, Is Alberto up in London mentioned? Reaching east has no mission, no vision. Anything that's on their mind, they're doing. No planning, no thinking. Socialists always have a 5-year plan. Men let's prepare for years up in Britain. But it's after they done build a house, Trini does show a plan. As Manning get a Zeppo to talk to Barjons on the block. Just so. Just so. Leasing get radio license to give Umbala work. Just so. Just so. They ban Assam from fighting the election just so one day. Next day, Assam just so went and he cussed up and they a man kill a teacher in Tobago the other day. Just so. Just so. Just so. You tell me just so. Look, Carlos State 20,000 pounds and give Miss Candy. Just now. Alive. Go back. Go back. London say so. Things happen and nobody here don't know. Businessmen just walk in a nightclub to drink up, and just so they just get kidnapped. Children writing common entrance, some go very slow, just end up passing for St. Mary's just so. You could leave for New York and delay for 3 days in the Apple. Just so. I hope your man tell Wendell Motley he'll be the next Prime Minister. Just so. Just so. And Motley take that Zeppo and spend all the white money. Just so. Just so. So they getting $17,000 a head. Junior doctors just so left the hospital bed. And when they hear Cubans coming, they run back instead. Just so. Just so. Just so. I tell you, just so. Fight in Idaho, they hit Cocoa Slack, you know. Just so. Rumba. Let's go. Man gets slapped, yes, go. Is Alberto up in London, say, brother, Trinbagonians have a just so culture. Who started? They say, nobody don't know. But look, the price of bread raised up just so. Actually, will love a woman from head to toe. Marry she and tell she till death he won't part, you know. And next day kick she, hit she to slap, burn down the house and go. Just so a tourist woman spread AIDS all over Tobago. Just so. Just so. So you can't make love to no girl from Tobago. Just so. Just so. Look, a man will meet you right here, down in San Fernando. And instead of, how do you do? Good morning. Also, he'll greet you with, how your mother so and so. Just so. Just so. Just so. I tell you, just so. Look, Lara will back for day and get out first ball tomorrow. Just so. I like it. They like it.
We are not hearing you, Anselm. Hello, everyone. This is WZYE 95.9 FM.
Yeah. Sorry,
Good.
I had my mic off. Sorry. You know, I try to mute the mic so people don't hear what's going on in the background. Of course, ladies and gentlemen. That's all right. You know, let me begin again. Yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's in the village with the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And we have with us no other than one turn of the DAG Triplets, no other than Diana, Waveney, Benskin, Stormy, the Storm, McDonald boy.
Lord, boy, our name. A man born in Dominica could become TNT top legislator. Just so.
Just so. Just so. You don't have to be born in Trinidad to become a AG. Just so.
I make that up. Just make that up.
You could be born in America and you become a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Just so.
Just so.
Just so.
Wait. You could be a Bajan and you'll be a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago too. Just so.
But you could be born in Trinidad and you pick up American citizenship, but you can't become Attorney General. Just so.
Just so.
Just so. Oh God! Yeah,
boy.
Tony E. Marshall, Tony Nisbet, the Commissioner of Newark, boy. Welcome to the village to the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Just so.
Always a pleasure to see you, and each and every occasion. Just so.
Just so.
So sad.
Wait. You're only happy to see Ansel. What's going on here now?
No. I so? You is plural.
Just so.
You is
singular. No. You was talking to Ansel. And you addressed.
Listen, you want to say use or you?
Yeah, I was talking to Anselm and you address him as you, and that is perfectly correct. So you're happy to see Anselm, you're not happy to see me, but that's okay. That's okay.
I'm much more happy to see you. I'm happier to see you.
Okay, now we're talking. Don't let the storm get vexed here, you know.
Yeah.
I done brewing already, yeah?
Of course. You know who come in the village first again? Is Nadia come in the village first again, just so. Yes, so she come in the village first again.
She related to Kareem, boy. Kareem the Dream.
Of course. She come in the village first, just so. Second, just so.
No. I see a Visha Rambaran.
That's Nadia.
Oh, that's all. Okay.
She using daughter's phone.
Okay. All right.
And Miss Kuva come in fourth, just so. Just so. Nadia come fifth, just so. Sixth, just so. Seventh, just so. Eighth, just so. Ninth, just so.
11.
Just so. 11, just so. And then finally, Vonnie Roberts come in. Just so. 20th. Vonnie, if you are going to the World Indoor Championships, you ain't make the final, you know. You come 19th, just so.
Ooh.
Joan Jadube, welcome. You're inside. Joan, how are you?
Ooh.
Joan want to make DG on tonight. No. DG not on tonight, Joan.
Hey, listen, before we get busy and I get bogged down, I want to say, I think he might be listening now. I want to say a special thank you to the mayor of Port of Spain, Mr. Martinez. I reached out to him with a young lady who was stranded in the UK and finally made it back home. And she got herself a little job, but she needed some attire, scrubs. And you know how the situation is. And Mr. Martinez went out of his way and make sure she got those scrubs. I also want to say thank you to Brother Abdullah, who provided a hamper for the family. I want to say thank you to my friend Brittany Williams from Baka. She got married. I don't know your last name, your new last name, Brittany, from Baka, who also stepped in to assist in whatever way. And there's another nurse friend, True Gary Mahabir, who stepped up to help this young lady. Thank you to all of you guys for helping her. Thank you.
All them people help you, just so?
Just so. But the mayor of Port of Spain, he took my call, just so, and he was very, inclined to assist, and he didn't mama guy she. He helped her out.
Okay.
That's the same young lady that Dr. Rowley left in England. Just so.
Just so.
Yep.
The man left the woman in England just so.
Yep.
Just so.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. So listen now, Vonnie Roberts want to know if I could courier him one of my t-shirts I have on. So I have one a kind of, you know, all of them I like to represent. So
well, it should say true macaque.
No. Well, you know when if you have ambitions, it's either be the whole of love until it can't be just true macaque. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Then I had to get one that says St. Augustine and Barbados.
No, all this should wear one that says Laventille. We should all wear one. You know,
I'm from Laventille. I'm from St. Augustine.
No, you're just representing.
I'm from
I've asked my partner to deliver some to WZYE 95.9 FM, so everybody could come in.
I want one way saying Tunapuna. I born and raised in Tunapuna, raised in St. Augustine. So make it say Tun Augustine.
Okay,
or
so
Tun Augustine. Just so?
Yeah.
Wanted to say Tun Augustine, just so?
Yeah.
If we say love until, everybody will be more inclined to wear that t-shirt. Love until.
I want to say Tun Augustine. Good. That's you.
So, you know, Vonnie Roberts will send him a t-shirt so he could give one to Aisha. Right? And he said, if I send him a few, he will give one to Google. Yeah, Google is entrenched. And we go along, get along, PNM gang now. Entrenched.
It's cold.
Right? I'm making him the co-chairman with Dominic Romain. Google is the co-chairman. He get promotion. I promote him. Yeah. He inside now big time. Right? The PNM no game nothing, no. But he inside. Nothing. You know? I feel so same sometimes, you know, like a beggar maid. He don't get nothing. Like me. You don't get nothing. You know what they say long time when you eat wind pies and nothing chops? Yeah. I walk past the Google again.
I'm have to go get a sweater. It's really cold in here. The temperature dropped.
Yeah, boy, Jason Thomas, welcome, boy. It's love on the hill, boy. It's love until. I tell them that all the time. It's love until. You know? Whenever you're talking about love until, you have to say it's love until. That is it.
But I ain't telling you no lie though. Back in the day, you was banned from going Laventille.
No,
I'm just telling you.
That was rumors, man.
I couldn't go. I couldn't go Laventille. You crazy?
Look, Joan just remind me. Joan, I forget her. Thanks, Joan, for reminding me. Yes, Sharon Felix too. You know what I mean? Them, you know, them is really a whole bunch of go along, get along, pay. They'll start in the morning, is Sharon Felix, Bruce Wayne, Dominic Romain, Pastor Google, Aisha Wells, right? All through the day. And it has some of them who are more prominent as, at least some people just try a little something. But Pastor Google, boy, oh God. And then on Sundays, they have a program called Baking with Dominic Romain. That's the name of the program? Baking with, yeah. I think a morning program called Baking with Dominic Romain. Because every Sunday morning he has go and bake in that program. You understand? But that's how it is. Joan says Laventille. Joan, you from Laventille? Joan says she from Laventille. What part? I think Joan says she was from Wharton Street, buddy. Tommy, you ever been to Laventille?
I've been to Laventille. I have.
Garvin, you ever been to Laventille?
I used to go.
If I ever passed through Laventille?
No, you ever been to Laventille? Not passed through, been to.
I passed through for Carnival 1 year, I can't remember. 2012 or something. I can't remember.
I had a
you
good
just passed through?
Yeah. I had a good old my friend used to live on Desperately Crescent. So I spent a little time there from time to time with him.
Yeah, I didn't have nobody in Laventille.
But
I wasn't allowed to go Laventille.
Why you wasn't allowed to go Laventille?
You crazy? I was not allowed.
I'm asking you a question. Why weren't you allowed to go to Laventille?
You had to ask the woman that did that question.
So she never told you?
Nope.
Okay.
I was
All right.
not allowed to go. It's only when I became a young lady, like 19, I went to a fete just right up behind the CGA, Coconut Grove, somewhere up in there. They had some hall. I went there to a fete
Okay.
with a bunch of people, not by myself.
Not me, I'm there, right?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
That
All
was
right.
that
All
was back in the day.
I just went to school and went back home.
right. Guy, what school you went to?
I mean,
Huh?
St. Augustine,
You went,
Diana neighborhood.
oh, you went to
Wait,
good
wait, what
school too,
school
boy.
you went to,
St.
Gary?
Augustine. St. Augustine.
You went St. Augustine senior sec?
Well,
The
back
Green
them days in a,
Machine.
Oh, you part of the Green Machine? Well, you must see no plenty
yeah.
of my friends because they left Crep and went there.
Oh, look at that, boy.
Me and Gary must see bounce up on the road. I must see pelt a rock at Gary. You don't even know.
Yeah, Guy, you in big school, boy. You and
No,
Diana St.
no,
Augustine?
he went to St. Augustine senior sec. I went to St. Augustine Girls High. That's two different schools.
No, but isn't the high school lower than the senior sec?
No.
The high school is higher than the senior sec?
The education and the nobility and the prosperity. Yeah.
No.
Well,
I'm talking about levels as far as level is concerned.
you mean where? Oh, you mean educational level or
Yeah.
location?
No,
Yeah, these high.
educational level. Yeah, educational
The St.
level.
Augustine Girls High has a
Mm, mm.
impeccable reputation for
Uh,
years.
yeah. Okay. So Joan says she lived by Angostura, one of the greatest area. Joan also
Mhm.
said John, I don't what I went to Tranquility Government Secondary School from 1975 to 1977. I don't know if Joan went before me. Joan, Dana, why you
Huh?
laughing when I make that comment, Dana?
Maybe she older. I don't know.
Dana, I never said anything about age. Don't bring me in your thing.
John, he calling you old. He say you're a senior citizen.
All I said maybe she could have gone after as well. So don't put me.
Yeah, you're calling the girl old. Yeah, you're frightened. Jess, or you're calling she old?
No, she. Oh God, only Chinini easy though, right?
But I'll tell you, when I went there one year, someone took me for a drive up behind the with it. They have a pan yard somewhere up in the back there, and the view was, I mean, magnificent.
Any
I said,
back
well,
way? Any back way?
I can't remember, but I know it was in Laventille. And I said to myself, wait, here's a nice area, you know. But I know you see the Morva lookout. Let me hush my mouth.
So why
Move.
you want to keep away from love until what was the reason?
Let me hush. I don't
Huh?
know. You have to ask her.
No, I'm asking a general question. What was the reason?
I never had a problem. I never had for the 18 years of my life I spent in Trinidad. I never had a problem going back and forth to any part of Lavato.
But Anson, you have to understand if you belong to a neighborhood, so people don't really interfere with you just like that.
No, because you remember
if you're outside, then they will interfere with you.
No, Gary, I went to
That's a normal
Calgary.
thing in Trinidad or anywhere you go. If you belong to a neighborhood, you could be the worst criminal there. They really interfere with you until you get in their face.
No, Gary. I went to Tranquility Government Secondary School. I went to Calvary Roman Catholic. I went to Diego Martin Junior Sec. I went to Bartaria Junior Sec. Right? And if you go to Bartaria Junior Sec, well, I used to walk home from Bartaria.
Oh my
I had to
God.
pass through all different areas. I had to pass through Successville. I had to pass up Passy Street before I go up.
Yeah,
up
but
to
we don't know I mean, now we're seeing this kind of territory war going on where you can't, if you're from certain parts of Laventille, you can't go to certain parts of Laventille. I don't know if that existed in your time, you know.
No, that didn't exist. That didn't exist. You could have passed through. We used to pass through one set of shortcut.
But Gary, you knew where the commissioner of police lived, Burroughs?
No. I was too young to know them things.
Yeah, please. He lived right up that street there behind Hilo, just around the corner from your St. Augustine Senior Sec.
The Hilo.
They where Massey is now?
Yeah, well, I haven't been
Yes.
up there in a long.
Right. So straight up that road, the road's still there. Straight up the road. Put Hilo St. Augustine. I know it as Hilo. Straight up that road. I can't
So
remember
you
the
remember,
street
you
name.
remember where Woolwood was up on the Curab Junction? You're talking about?
No, further up. Yeah, come up. You gotta come up the road. Just before, yeah.
Closer to the school?
Down, but down on the main road. And
Up by
you,
Ward Street or Gordon Street up there?
no, not
That
so
was the main
far
road.
up.
That was the main road.
Yeah, you know where Bellsmite Street butts to the main road?
I can't remember. I'd have to.
God, Gary, you're old. But anyway, we used to go and steal Burroughs mango. He had nice juicy mangoes, starch mango. I think it might have been. Ooh, those were the days. One day he catch me though.
Just
He
tried.
catch me.
For
I
me, I
just
mean, in
tried.
them days, we never really rough up children. I think if they're taking out a
Mm-mm,
mango or
mm-mm,
something,
mm-mm.
we never do them kind of thing.
No.
I mean, that was, people never make. I mean, man, is going people yard and teeth foul and thing. They say the best curry foul is the one that they teeth, right? Or the teeth dog.
So, Bonnie Roberts says, Anselm, all those go along, get along gang have their favorite callers. Leader, Mr. Bartaria, close follow-up, Rowley Jr., and Mr. Bagel.
Hold on.
Yeah. Jason Thomas says, Anselm, one day I'll do a live up on Breeze Hill so you can show the magnificent views up top. Yeah. We all for that, man.
Please do.
Yeah. Oh, you see, Diana, you see, take back what you say about Junior.
What I say about Joan?
Joe went to Tranquility Government Secondary School in 1986.
Ooh.
All right. So you all that thing you're talking about, take back the
Ooh.
comments.
I was reading his mind, Joan.
Bonnie say like Lana sleeping. Bonnie say if the 1% get their hands on Lavantil, you will see a little Dubai.
True.
The people of Lavantil could make Lavantil a little Dubai if they want. If they're given the opportunity.
And the resources and
If
stuff.
they give me opportunity. Me, I could go back and live in Lavantil. But what they should do is make a requirement for representatives. If you're gonna run for a constituency, you have to live in the constituency at least half the year.
Yep.
If you're not from my area, you can't represent that area. I don't agree with that at all. If you don't belong to a community, you have no right representing that community because you don't care. You're just there for the fame and the game and whatever it is. So I don't support the idea in somebody, whether it's UNC, PNM, or ABC, I don't support somebody that belongs to a community running for that seat there.
No.
Look, Joan says she worked with the stock market too.
Yeah. John, exactly. Explain that to me a little more. When you say the stock market, John also said, "Well, when the 1% take over, my house will be very valuable." John, I don't think you had to wait for the 1% to take over for the house to be valuable. I think, sometimes that's a misnomer because there's a oh God, I forget the name of the place, boy. It's in Washington. What's the name of the place, boy? Oh, I'm going to remember the name. It's a predominantly black community, and most of the houses go for over $800,000.
Yep.
Right? A lot of the houses are very, very expensive.
But look at parts of Brooklyn. Them brownstone.
Bed-Stuy is an example. Right?
Yep.
And look at Newark as another example. I mean, Newark. I lived in Newark. Now you in order to buy an abandoned house in Newark, you have to break it down and start all over again. And they have auction, it might cost you $200,000, $300,000.
I almost bought a home in Newark the other day when I was looking for a home. But everybody tell me, oh, the GWB and Newark, this flood. And
No, all eyes out.
And I was steered northward here.
Oh, Joan says she worked for the Trinidad Tobago Stock Exchange. Or she works. Yeah, Joan, John, we have something in common. You work for the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. I work for the New York Stock Exchange. But
I want John, do you know Suzette Laurie? I'm trying to get a hold. Anybody know how to get a hold of Suzette Laurie? Trying to get her on the show. She just posts on my page, but she don't answer me.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
Bonnie Roberts said today 7 p.m. TV6 PDP made it known that they would be contesting the elections.
Well, I have a let me go to something here. Let me go to this video here. Okay, let me show you guys something.
Pressure.
There was a video by the leader of the PDP, Watson Duke. He did a video.
I saw that.
Yeah, and he was saying that the PDP was, well, I mean, he had said it previously that PDP is coming to Trinidad. So I don't think it's any breaking news that, they're coming to Trinidad. I think I think to me, I mean, I think I have something here about Gary Griffith's new party. I want to pass that on. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I have that video in here. No, I don't have that video. But I have that video in my
Gary Griffith have a new party already?
Yeah. Fishstick, welcome. Yeah.
Good evening, Albert.
Right, yeah. And Fishstick, welcome. I didn't share it because I wasn't sure. Highly welcome as well. Albert Montano, Fishstick, and highly welcome. Let me see it here. I think the name of the party, this is what the person says. I didn't share it, but they said it's some transformational party, something to do with transformational. I think he borrowed my acronym.
Highly said the girl them want the pressure, blissing.
That's what he said?
Blissing. We know who that is.
Yeah. Correct is right. So I'm trying to look for. I get it from one of my friends.
This election, next election gonna be bacchanal, boy. I saw a video where Twiggy was asking somebody if they can still plant bamboo. I said, boy, the election bug, boy, got people acting crazy. Oh yeah. What are you looking for, Anselm?
No, I'm looking for this thing with this party here. The person sent it to me. Talking about Gary Griffith new party. Some transformation or something.
That wasn't George Volney. So George Volney have one. Gary Griffith has one. Then it's the PDP. Oh boy.
Don't forget the PDP.
I think we need
40. Pep. It's Pep, yeah.
We need
you
41.
Need what? 41 what?
I don't know what it is. I gotta
look
for it.
41 political parties.
Okay.
One for each seat.
And then how you gonna govern? You're gonna have a charrette type of government?
I say split the treasury in 41, let all man Jack run their show.
So you have 40, like do it like the United States, a different on a federal level, a governmental level. That sounds kind of good. But then who's going to be the leader?
The president.
But she don't say nothing.
Exactly.
So you need constitutional reform for that.
So guys, right, I was trying to get, I sent the former Attorney General Garvin Nicholas. He said he was going to join us at 7:10, but I just called him and he didn't answer. And the reason why I wanted to talk to him is because with respect to the Reginald Armour situation, right? And that what happens is that it is from what was printed in the Express, that there is no problem. There doesn't seem to be a problem with the new AG being born in Dominica and having Trinidad and Tobago citizenship and becoming the Attorney General. He says he don't see that as a problem as an attorney. So.
But according to the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm taking it from, their thing.org, it says here, dual citizenship is recognized for citizens by birth or by descent, following amendments in the Citizenship Act in 1988. Therefore, a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago by birth or descent who acquires a foreign citizenship shall not lose his citizenship on justification of such acquisition. Dual citizenship, however, is not allowed in the case of naturalized or registered citizens.
Well, here's the article, right? Attorney Nicholas Mendes, Armor legit as AG, right? So of course, here is former AG and the new AG, and he says the appointment of Attorney General Reginald Armour was legally valid since former Attorney General Garvin Nicholas and former Law Association President Douglas Mendes SC speaking to Newsday on Friday. There's absolutely no problem with his swearing in, Nicholas said. Mendes said similar. Critics online have been asking if Armour's appointment was invalidated by his admission of being a citizen of Dominica, where he was born, and Trinidad and Tobago. Such critics cite the TT Constitution in section 42(1), which says, no person shall be qualified to be appointed as a senator who is a citizen of a country other than Trinidad and Tobago, having become such a citizen voluntarily or is under a declaration of allegiance to such a country. Nicholas explained why Armour's appointment was valid. He was born a Dominican, therefore he became a Dominican not voluntarily, but involuntarily.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. As far as I'm aware, he has been using his TT passport and does not use his Dominican citizenship at all. So he's wholly Trinidadian essentially, right? With Nicholas saying Armour birth in Dominica did not invalidate him as AG of TT, Newsday asked if he was invalidated by the latter part of section 42(1) by being under any declaration of allegiance to such a country, Dominica. Nicholas did not think that Armour was under any allegiance to Dominica. He replied that there was a Jamaican case that was dealt with that. The test they used was to see if he kept actively using the other citizenship, such as meaning that other passport.
Oh my God.
Otherwise, Nicholas opined that section 42(1) seems somewhat outdated. I agree with that. Although still valid on the legal books, because TT otherwise allowed dual citizenship in general for the populace. As far as his Armour's ability to be sworn in, there's absolutely no legal impediment. Mendes said similar. He said the first prohibition only applies if someone acquires a foreign citizenship voluntarily. It means obviously that if you were born in a country and as a consequence of your birth have citizenship of that country, then you will not have acquired it voluntarily. You obviously can't dictate where you are going to be born. Therefore, you will not have acquired citizenship voluntarily, and therefore that certainly doesn't apply to Armour. Mendes also did not think Armour's appointment was voided by a second provision in 42(1), that is an invalidation of if one is under a declaration of allegiance to another country. All right, so it goes on and on and on. All right, but my thing is this, right? I hear all of that. The first thing I think they need to do, they need to change the constitution.
Word.
That's the first. They need to change. They need to get rid of that archaic dinosaurical,
Jurassic,
Jurassic,
colonial.
Stone Age constitution.
Yeah.
Because think about this, right? If I'm born in the United States of America and I go to Trinidad and I acquire citizenship of Trinidad and Tobago, I could become an MP. Based on what he just said, I could become an MP, I could become a minister, I could become attorney general, I could become prime minister, whatever. Right? That's basically what they're saying. But think about this, right? We here in the diaspora, right? We are born Trinidadians, born and bred Trinidadians. We come to this country, we acquire citizenship because some of us come to this country at a very young age, and we acquire citizenship because if you're living in this country, that is the thing to do.
Get job, better jobs, be able to vote,
yeah,
and all
everything,
sorts of stuff.
the whole 9 years. But let's stick a pin right there and divert somewhat. A senator in this country, a senator, he does almost the same thing. He runs for a constituency here in New Jersey. He gets elected. Now, if he or she has dual citizenship, that doesn't prevent that individual from running to become a senator. However, the only thing they cannot do, they cannot become president. But they could go to Washington and serve their constituency. Right? In Trinidad and Tobago, they are telling you, you can't do that. You can't pledge allegiance to two countries. So in order for you to come back home and run for a constituency, right, you have to give up one of them. Right? And I just don't see in this day and age why we're not changing the constitution to say,
backward.
Yes, you can come and participate in politics of the country, but you cannot become a prime minister or president. To me, that in 2022, that makes a lot of sense because this is what we have here in the United States of America. But you know what? People will say, well, we don't follow America. What we follow America for? We Trinidad and Tobago. They only like to follow America in certain situations.
Yeah, fashion, style, music.
They selectively follow what they want to follow. But anything to improve the country, no, we don't want that. We don't want wrong with you. We don't want that. Yeah. Or they can't serve two masters, you have to serve one master. You know, look. Only have to serve one
but you know, but they, you know what they fail to realize is if they had to remove us from the country, where do you think they're sending us? Right back where we born. Right back where we born. When I got processed to go pick up my documentation to re-enter the United States, they didn't send me to Barbados. Although I entered the country from Barbados, they sent me to Trinidad, where I was born. So, you know, the United States is following. She's a born Trinidad, send her there.
Yeah, but the Ghana, I know individuals who are Jamaicans, Bajans, and they're senators. They're senators, right? I mean, if you go to Brooklyn, there's a young lady by the name of Yvette Clark. She come after her parent.
Yes.
Clark. Yes, and her mother who then served in Washington.
Yes.
And she still has the accent.
Yes.
But we in Trinidad and Tobago, we kind of backward mentality. Telling you, you know, all right, you left this country at a young age, right?
Yeah.
You know, give up your citizenship. Give it up, get rid of it. But
then they forced Gypsy to do it, right?
Boy, we backward too bad, boy. We backward, real backward. You know, and listen, don't feel bad, you know. It are many Trinidadians who go tell you can't serve two masters, you know. They will tell you that. Tommy, what do you think?
Tommy going to sleep?
No, I ain't going to sleep. But I think that it's time for change. I also believe that right now we have to get rid of all the old dinosaurs in the political arena in Trinidad. We need a purge. We need a complete overhaul in order to get this thing right. Because when I think about what Rambarat had to say, it makes me think that it's a hopeless situation the way things are going right now.
But not only that, Tony, Dana, and Gary, two people were charged, you know, for the Rambarat situation, you know. As a matter of fact,
no,
Yeah, let me see if I have that here. I think I have that. You know, 2 people were charged for that situation. Let me see if I get that.
With
Yeah,
what
yeah, 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 yeah.
situation? With what situation?
With respect to Rambarat, what he talked about. I mean, we have the video, no, but the
I
video
wasn't
is
able to catch up to it, so you got to bring it up.
yeah, the video is about 9 minutes long.
Talking
You
about
know.
some land in Waller Field
Mhm.
that seems the title and thing seems to be uh, fraudulent to
It was
acquire
racket.
funds.
It was
Some doctor
corruption.
was involved. Some doctor was
Yeah,
involved.
yeah,
It wa-
doctor. Yeah.
That is
No,
the
no,
typical
no,
thing.
no, 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 no. That was 2 people that work for land and settlement.
No, but there was
Oh,
something about some doctor too.
Right, they're
right.
right. Addition. Yeah, but the 2 people who were charged, they worked for something to do with land and settlement. Hold on, let me see if I get it up here.
Well, let me tell you something. As far as I've been hearing for a while, there's been a whole heap of land grabbing from government officials.
Mm, mm.
Hmm.
But ain't Waller Field supposed to be farmland? I know my mother's husband, he had land up there and he she and the kids up there. They live on a farm for a while. I wasn't there. I left. I left Curep in Augustine before they get up
But
there.
you see, they're playing the fool with this agricultural land from that was supposed to be distributed from the county, 1975 limited, the sugarcane land. When a lot of this land was supposed to be transformed into local agricultural production, it's I don't know, it's real chaos. Nothing has really been. Some people got land, they're not planting it. It's all kind of mixture of things going on down there.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I wonder what become of them the soldiers that allegedly beat the fellas from Grenada. I
You
wonder
mean
what was becoming of that situation.
you mean the Coast Guard?
The
Coast
Coast
Guard
Guard, yeah.
situation?
I'm sorry, the Coast Guard, yeah. What
Oh,
becoming?
it's still ongoing. I think
Well,
yeah.
About a week to give her a report. It was given
yeah,
a
that's what
written.
I'm saying. I could a week is it's more than a week now.
And we
So the
moved on to the
report is not
next
going to
thing.
be made public. It's not going to be made public.
No,
What
but
do you
we have
mean
moved
not?
on. We have moved on
What
to
do
the
you think?
next
What do you think
thing.
is America?
What do you mean moved on, and then now what's going on with Paria? That died down too. You know what I understand. There's a whole heap of people, workers from TSTT, going to be sent home. Then Unilever is cutting down production down just to the butter alone, Blue Band, and then eventually they're going to phase out production of the butter in Trinidad. What is really going on?
So what?
Investors
You see them people comfortable how things are?
investors leaving Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, Unilever is an international firm, right? Answer. Or
Yeah.
is it they're leaving? If they're leaving, I
So
shudder to think what's gonna happen.
there's the article there. 2 charges, right?
Hmm.
Let me get that article. 2 charges. So at least the although get vexed with the the new attorney, the new ACP, Assistant Commissioner of Police, acting Police Commissioner McDonald Jacob said on Thursday that claims raised by former Agriculture Minister Clarence Rambarat of corruption at the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries are being investigated. At the launch of the National Operation Task Force at the Interagency Task Force headquarters in Aranguez, Jacob said so far 2 people have been charged in relation to fraud at the ministry. He added that he had received a letter from Rambarat thanking him. During an interview with I-95.5 on Sunday, Rambarat said there was multi-million-dollar corruption taking place involving state land. Rambarat said he had told the acting COP that senior public servants had colluded to have state land granted to 5 relatives of one of them. It involved 7 plots of land with a value of at least 5 million, he said. I'm not talking about daily paid. I'm talking about a minister having to write to a commissioner of police and prime minister saying that I have evidence. Asked about this, Jacob says 2 people have been held and brought before the court in relation to this matter. I have a letter from the former minister thanking the police for the way the investigation was done. There are also other investigations ongoing, but 2 already charged and brought before the courts. The 2 charged are Jimboy Bruno, 38, as checker from Bonnier Gardens, and Devon Richardson, 38, a contractor from Panco Lane, San Fernando. Bruno was charged on March 13 and Richardson on March the 10th. Bruno, who worked in the office of the Commissioner of State Land, is alleged to have forged a letter dated February 3rd, 2020, granting permission to a man to occupy state land in South Oropouche. It is alleged that he collected $700 to facilitate the forgery. Richardson is alleged to have uttered a forged document, namely a letter dated February 3, 2020, in an attempt to gain permission to use land at Hindustan Junction, New Grant, Princestown. The two were arrested and charged by the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau after a report was made on November the 23rd, 2021. So there you have it. At least somebody getting locked up is just not a politician. That is all.
Well, they need some glasses and magnifying glass to see what's going on.
Somebody getting locked up, but not a politician.
And what happened to the DSS money? People what happened to the DSS thing? What will become of that? Where the funds that people gave in? Oh Lord.
No, the fella got the money. They give him back the money.
They give him back the money?
Yeah. They give him back the money.
Because also it was said that some high-ranking law enforcement officials and other people were involved in this scheme.
And Gary Griffith said it was a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, a Susudo run like that.
Susudo run that way at all. Pyramid.
But wait a minute. You see, let me ask you a question. If the pyramid is illegal, how come the fellas don't get back the money?
Good question. But they're victims.
And they said Trinidad is not a real place, right?
They're victims.
But Dana, if you were the COP and you said it was an illegal thing and the people get back the money, then it was not illegal.
But you can't, it don't matter, you can't take they are in possession of the money at the time. You can't take the money by hand.
It was an illegal scheme by the perpetrator.
If it was an illegal scheme, Gary, they can take the money.
Yeah, but the police can't.
No, the money was, they didn't rob or kill anybody to acquire them funds. No, the crime wasn't committed in the funds that were acquired, like physical harm.
The police that take the money,
Yeah.
What they call it, some members of the defense force that took the money.
So it's right for the people who were milked out of their money to give them back their money and perhaps have a stern warning or charge the person who was organizing the pyramid scheme, who's the head of it. But give back the people their money. I agree with that in the harsh economy that's going on now. Yeah, give them back their money.
If it is illegal, you don't have to give them back no money. Doesn't matter whether the economy is good, bad, sideways.
So who claim the money? The government?
Oh, you mean when them fellas do illegal jobs, what else do they take the money?
But they have to charge them in order to take the money.
That's why they have to give them back the money, guy, because nothing was illegal.
But like I said, they wasn't charged with anything.
Anselm head in Chewakak right now. What Albert Montano say here? You have to revoke your citizenship not to be a citizen of a country. Albert, I'm confused. That statement, I'm confused. You that making sense, answer? You're missing a word in there, Albert. You have to revoke your citizenship not to be a citizen of a country.
Well, I mean, if you revoke your citizenship, like for example, if I want to run as a member of parliament in Trinidad, I have to revoke my U.S. citizenship. If I revoke my U.S. citizenship, I'm no longer a citizen. I don't even think I have a green card anymore. I'm just out. Now, what I will have to do, I will have to go and apply for a visa, because if you revoke your citizenship, don't mean to say that it will give you a green card.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I don't know.
You have to ask Gypsy that.
Yeah, if you revoke your citizenship, right? You give up your passport, you revoke your citizenship. Do you get a green card in replace? I mean, if you're from another country, you ain't gonna get a green card. If you're from another country, so for example, in Dominica, if you revoke your citizenship, what happens?
I don't know. That's a question we have to ask Judge Voney.
Well,
He might be
that's why,
able.
right? That's why I wanted to ask Gavin Nicholas. I wanted to find out from him, right?
George.
If I'm a citizen of the country, right, and I revoke, I ain't have no passport.
So what happened with him tonight?
I don't know. I call him, but he
He must get a call. Who he was Attorney General under.
No, he ain't get no call. He's a good guy.
So watch out for our MP after the break.
Yeah, that he was the Attorney General on that Gary party.
But listen, I am a citizen of Barbados, and I didn't even have to apply for that. I'm a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago because I was born there. I'm a citizen here of the what?
You cannot run for MP in Trinidad and Tobago unless you
revoke
your Bajan citizenship.
No, I cannot revoke my Bajan citizenship because it's something. Watch now. You know why? Because I didn't even have to apply for it. Having been born to Bajan parents abroad, the Constitution of Barbados recognized me as a citizen. Doing something. No, I don't. That's their business. I didn't have to apply for it.
You cannot become an MP.
How you can't become an MP?
You have dual citizenship.
The Constitution of Barbados make me a citizen, without even having to apply for it.
You have to unmake yourself.
No, I don't have to unmake it. Then they got to go and unmake the Constitution of Trinidad of Barbados.
No. Use a Bajan passport?
If I ever use a Bajan passport?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
So there you go.
What do you mean?
Christmas is over.
What do you mean? How do you mean cancel Christmas?
It's over. You cannot become an MP.
I am entitled to a Bajan passport because my mother and father is too Bajan. And the Constitution of Barbados says I am a Bajan even if I don't apply for it.
That's fine. No problem.
I use the Bajan passport because the Trinidadian passport was hard to come by at one time. Diana, so I ain't care. What do you mean my cancel Christmas? Look,
Trinidad have no problem with you acquiring Bajan citizenship through your parents. They have no problem with that. The Constitution says that once you have dual citizenship, you're born in Trinidad, and you're a citizen of another country, you cannot become an MP.
But they chop it. They chop it.
We need to change the Constitution. I agree with that.
They chop it.
But Trinidadians don't want to talk about that, you know. And when we come back, we will talk about another one that we here in the diaspora need.
But watch me now. Watch me now. I can go to Barbados and run for something, though.
That's Barbados.
I could go to Barbados and I'm born in Trinidad. But I could go to Barbados and run for something.
You could become Prime Minister in Barbados?
I'm not sure. I will ask somebody who's well versed in the Constitution.
If
I'm a Bajan by descent, I have Bajan ID, passport, everything. I should be able to become a Prime Minister. But I go ask that question. I'll come back with it in the next show.
I am citizen of the United States of America. I can't become the president, but stick and stay. Let's go for a quick station identification. Of course, folks, it's in the village with the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's 7 to 10 p.m. Let's go for a quick station identification. Stick and stay. Don't go nowhere. It's in the village with the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Back with you. It's in the village with the DAG Triplets and WZYE.
Matter of fact, Anselm, I'm gonna get that answer and come right back to you. Come right back.
Okay. All right. No problem. Yeah, we get it.
Just watch out for MP Paray.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Ronnie Roberts, it doesn't matter who's the AG. It's the same thing. No change. The boss is Rowley. He control everything, even the president. Now I think this fella real bright though. I think this fella different.
Who is that?
Reginald, this new AG.
You,
He's a
you,
senior
you,
counsel.
okay, you think he bright?
He's a senior counsel.
Well, that's it. You think he
And
bright,
Slim,
right?
and Slim, I don't care how bright they are. If they're following the same playbook, it's the same results.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. And some no vaccine to enter Canada must be fully vaccinated. We'll be there next month. Okay. Yeah, boy. Hey, that's right. You know what? Since you say that thing, let me let me play this here real quick. This is fantabulous for us here in America as well as in Trinidad and Tobago. We have one of our homegrown boy. We win gold medal tonight to this in the World Indoor Championship, boy. You real good, boy. Real good. Dream, boy. The dream. Dream the dream. Hey, Hailey, thanks for reminding me, man. Because I saw them things in the background, they sitting on waiting. Hold on, here we go. And you know, it have Trinidad commentary too, you know. Isn't it? Yeah, he made that a special tribute to Dion Lando.
Yeah.
Yeah, the athlete who just passed away. Dion Lando was a great guy. He knew Jorim very well. And he dedicated that to him. So that was a good thing. That was a very good thing. Very, very
So
good thing.
I left the program and I asked someone who's well constitutionally versed in Barbados' constitution. Yes, I can hold a seat in Parliament and I can become Prime Minister of Barbados.
What?
Because the ex-Prime Minister that died, David Thompson, his wife is St. Lucian, and she got citizenship through him. And when he died, she ran for his seat and represented it in Parliament. So yes, I can become Prime Minister of Barbados.
All right, okay. Well, here we go. Here we go, man. You're inside.
That's right. I know I can hold certain governmental office, but that question was never put to me, the prime ministership.
We might have a person in the village who's prime minister in the future. Right?
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
So let's welcome the MP from Mayaro, Mr. Rushton Paray. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good night to your viewers and listeners. I'm very glad to be here and join you all this evening.
Right, so it's in the village with the DAG Triplets, of course. That's DAG. D is Diana. Diana is considered to be the storm. A is myself on Summer Wall Street. And of course, you know, G is Gary Mahavir, who's considered to be the Phantom. You know,
okay.
we're still looking to see who the Phantom is, but the Phantom is gonna the Phantom will come out of hiding soon.
I see.
And then we have another person that is Tommy Nesbitt, who's a commissioner here in Newark.
Okay.
Mr. Rushton Paray, welcome. How are you doing? How are you doing again?
Good. With all the challenges that we are facing here, I mean, as a representative of the people, you know, it's never an easy job. I don't think you can satisfy everyone to all the demands that come at you, but you try to do the best that you can and satisfy as much as you can, as often as you can. And I'm doing my best.
Now, Mr. Paray, I haven't heard your party take a position on the AG's dual citizenship possibility of his position being revoked and he having to renounce his Dominican citizenship and then be reappointed, because we had that with previously with Lahunt. You know, yes. He was a citizen of Ghana and he had to fly back to Ghana, renounce his Ghanaian citizenship, and then come back, you know, to Trinidad and Tobago. You know, we also had that with, you know, as a matter of fact, a person was running for the PNM. She was going to run for Port-au-Prince South, I believe, Burrell, you know, an athlete of Trinidad and Tobago, and she had to give up running because she had dual citizenship with respect to United States of America and Trinidad, and there have been others in the past as well.
Yeah, even in the UNC, we had an issue with Bill Chaitan in the 1995 administration as well.
And I think Hunt, wasn't Hunt part of that position too? He was Canadian, I think. Hunt.
I think for you mean for Chaitan?
No, Hunt was another one who was running.
He had Ghanaian, I think it was some Ghanaian arrangement he had that formed the dual citizenship, but it was quickly revoked and his matter was resolved. Now, I can tell you, the party did make an announcement. There was a press briefing the morning after the new AG was sworn in. Senator Mark did raise the matter of the possibility of his Dominican citizenship as well. The AG came out and he responded, and he did say that his swearing was above board, and his view and his interpretation of the legislation was that he is on the correct side of this. There has been several commentaries on it by leading attorneys on the island. I read one particular view by a very prominent constitutional attorney, and he said in his interpretation as well, he thinks the AG is in the correct. So I have not heard of any pursuing of the matter beyond raising it in the public domain from the United National Congress. But I can't speak as to what's coming. I know we have a press briefing scheduled for tomorrow at 10:30, and there may be other things that may raise on that matter. But as far as a lot of the constitutional lawyers are looking at the matter from on social media, they feel that the AG is in the clear.
Now, Mr. Paray, we here in the diaspora, tend to look at this and say it's time for there to be constitutional change in Trinidad and Tobago. And here's why. There are many of us who have political aspirations in Trinidad and Tobago. We may not have political aspiration to become prime minister or president, but we have political aspiration to become an MP and represent our constituency, so to speak, right? And to take a picture out of what goes on here in the United States of America, it seems to me that Trinidad follows America in certain situations. It seems like a selective following, right? Because in this country, you could be a senator and have dual citizenship, but you cannot become president.
Right.
So to me, in Trinidad and Tobago now, we here who have dual citizenship, in order for us to run for our constituency, we have to renounce our U.S. citizenship in order to just run. I think, personally, and there are many others who will agree with me, that the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago is outdated and needs to be updated. What do you say?
I agree. There has been many calls from various administrations over the year, going way back to Patrick Manning. I know he had several areas of constitutional reform that he wanted to pursue in the 2 terms that he had been there. And then you had Basdev Pandey, who still remains a very avid supporter of constitutional reform. You had some constitutional reform done under the Kamla Prasad Bisesa administration as well. But, we have inherited the old Westminster system. Now we are following the 1976 Constitution, which gave us the Republican status, where we remove the Queen as the head of state and we put a president in place. But the challenge is the way how our Constitution was written, and it is because of what happened in Marlborough House in 1962. I think the society back in the 1960s was not a very trusting society. I don't think we have improved in any significant way 60 years later. I remember distinctively when the Prime Minister back then, Dr. Williams, went to Marlborough House and he spoke to the Queen about, an independent constitution and so on. And the Queen said, well, look, where is the leader of the opposition? That day, I think Capalday would have been the leader of the opposition. And she says, well, look, we will not entertain a discussion unless there's some consensus by both the government and the opposition. And I think at that point in time, if my reading was correct, there was some consensus. And it was at that point in the 1960s where you had the formation of all the Civil Service Act and all the guarantees to have commissions for police, for teachers. So make sure that there was a separation of powers. Now, we have held on to that constitution. We tinkered with it in 1976 to remove the Queen and put the president. But by and large, the challenge that we are having in Trinidad and Tobago today is that our parliament is a 19th century relic of the Westminster system. We are servicing a 21st century client in terms of our constituents. They are watching cable TV, they are traveling around the world, they are seeing all the progress other jurisdictions have made. But we are constrained in the Constitution by a Civil Service Act that was designed during the Cold War. So you see the juxtaposition that we are in, and it really requires political maturity on both sides of the house, that we can come to some consensus that there is need for change in the Constitution, and let's put a team together and have consultations with people in the country, and let's fix this. And I'll tell you why. I sit on several joint select committees, and I would ask our senior public servants, why is this not happening? And you know what the response would be? Look, under Civil Service Act 125-976-2510, we can't do anything. But I'm saying in the private sector, my managers, my senior managers are allowed to make a decision in the best interest of the customer. And if there's a rule or a regulation or a template that is preventing that, he ought to have the power to adjust, to fix frame, to move forward. But unfortunately, this Cold War relic that we are operating as a Civil Service Act, it is really constraining the development of government service and to create a modern and equitable system in this country. And governments come, governments go, and their hands are like tied behind their backs to really get the 3/5 constitutional majority that is required in the parliament to make meaningful change. So unless there's consensus on both sides of the house, Anselm, we will get nowhere with constitutional reform.
Now let me just follow that up.
Dana,
let me just follow that up real quickly. Let me just follow that, Mr. Paray. For example, right, in the United States of America, if you in the army and you're based on Mars, let me go to Mars. You're based on Mars, right? You can vote via absentee ballot.
Yes.
Right? If you're on Mars, I mean, they send up a rocket up in Mars and you're putting a wrong and thing. You could get your absentee ballot and you could sign and put out who you want to thing and they will ship it back down to Earth. You could do that. In Trinidad and Tobago in 2022, we have citizens who are living outside of Trinidad and Tobago, and they can't even go to a consulate, show whether it's your ID card, your passport, your birth paper, your whatever it is, to know that it's you and it's no skullduggery, because there is skullduggery in Trinidad and Tobago. That there's no skullduggery, and they could vote. Why not?
Yeah. And again, it comes back to the original point that I made, that we have not grown up as a society of trust at all. So for instance, we are bogged down with red tape for everything because we don't trust the people that you're dealing with. So we want 99 signature. So for instance, to get a license renewed in this country, right? It is like you have to jump hoops, but I can go online, full a document for a US visa, which is the hardest thing in the world to get. And I can do it online and it can be processed. And within 14 days, I can get an appointment to go and get the interview. In Trinidad, to transfer a vehicle, you have to wait 6 months. How does that work? We are ranked at 105 on the ease of doing business index. Now in 2014, we were the lowest ever under Minister of Trade back then was Vasan Bharat. I think we had gotten down to around 65, and we have gone straight back up the ladder to 105. It takes you 90 days to get a TNTech connection. It's ridiculous.
It's funny you say that, right? I renewed my license 2 weeks ago. It took me half an hour. I mean, I had all my documents ready. The person come, they say, okay, you have this document there. Because I do this stuff online, and by the time you come into the place, you know, you have all the documents ready. You say, all right, you have this, you have this, you have this. All right. So, Mr. LeBron here, come stand by there, take a picture, you know, snap, take a picture, right? Picture your $35, $40 for your license. You pay them $35 for the license, for your license. They say, all right, here's a paper you can use until we send your license in the mail. And thing done. That's it.
So we've had some improvement over the last year in terms of the process, right? So now the license office has, they have given you an online form. You can fill it out, but here what? I still have to print the document. Walk with it whenever I get the appointment. If it's a month from today, I still have to walk with it. Walk with a printed document to hand them. And thankfully, with the appointment system now, within 10, 15 minutes, you get out. But you still have to wait a month and a half to get an appointment. I feel that I should be able to walk into any supermarket with a Ministry of Works kiosk. I punch in that I want a license renewal. The camera snaps my picture. I pay for it via my credit card. They give me a day to go collect the new card. And that should be it. You know, we are doing things. I mean, when you look at countries like Estonia, I mean, I've spent twice I've been to South Korea. And I am amazed at how the technology works. You can come off the subway, walk by a screen, punch in that you want a carton of milk, a loaf of bread, and by the time you walk down by the supermarket, you pick up the bag and go. and we can't seem to figure that out. Because look what's happening. I mean, license office is one. Certificate of character. You have to wait 2 weeks to get a certificate of character. That is ridiculous, you know?
Well, Mr. Paray, this is Miss Benskin. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Fine, thank you.
There's the Bajan on board here. So I want to know, right? We spend a lot of money in the diaspora in Trinidad and Tobago. In coming home, ticket, hotel, taste the carnival, whether it's bittersweet, however, whatever. We send Western Union money to family. We spend money, you know, millions of dollars.
Yes.
Why we don't have voting power? We should have voting power in our country where we spend money.
Now, if we were to follow other progressive nations, so for instance, when you look at what India has been doing in the last 10 years, they have been strengthening what you call their NRIs, which is the non-resident Indians. Right now, today, I could apply as an Indian, as an East Indian, as a Trinidadian of East Indian descent. I am third generation Indian. I can apply for my NRI status in India right now. And I will have all the rights and privileges of an Indian citizen outside of voting or owning agricultural land. Now, the only time I will be able to vote is if I marry an Indian national, then my right to vote by virtue of the marriage, right? Now, you have some countries that allows their diaspora to, you know, participate in all activities. But again, it requires the constitutional amendment because we're still operating in the 1960s. Do you know we still have laws, Anselm, in this country? If you are feeding a stray dog for a week and that dog go and bite your neighbor and the police gets the report and the neighbor say you have been feeding that dog, you are the owner of that dog, you know.
Oh, jeez. Oh, shit. I better get rid of Stormy then.
The man who feeds the dog, he is the owner of the dog and he takes the liability of any action of the dog. That is a 1919 act. Look, it's only last week we repealed in the parliament what you call a Foreign Contract Labor Act, which was put before the parliament in 1907.
And they also invoked the 1940 Save Law during the pandemic too.
Yes, we use that same power of the public health order. So nothing is being modernized. And the reason for that is it doesn't fit in the legislative agenda of the government of the day. And we ought to proportion some time to start amending. Look, we still have forms that are asking you for a Christian name. To apply for something, you have to have a Christian name. I mean, back in the 1940s, there was no way for a Hindu man to put a Hindu name on the form. So he had to go and christen and change his name to David or Albert or Charles before he could have even applied for a job in the government service. And some of those forms are still in the books and are printed by the government printer at the end of the day.
Yeah, it just seems to me that sometimes we are spinning top in mud. But let's shift the focus a little bit. What's going on in your constituency? How things? I know at one point there was some road stuff that you were dealing with. How things?
Nothing has changed, my friend. Nothing has changed. I had to remind a few of my younger constituents the other day that, look, it is easy to lay blame at the feet of your MP and your councillor because our faces are in the posters. Our faces are the ones that you see on the newspaper. But remember, as an MP, I have no constitutional powers to give instructions. And worse again, as an opposition MP, my power is in talk. I can talk, I can write, I can demand, I can make all kind of things on the airways. But when you're in government, your job is to act. And unfortunately, the constituency, very little action by the state has been taken in terms of the improvement on the road. We have serious water issues here. And I mean, you're talking about Mayaro depends on tourism. The energy sector has taken us a swing for the low end over the last few years. And we want to move people into Mayaro, into our hotels, our guest house. But half of the time you can't get water in these houses. And then the owners of the house have to spend upwards of $500 to fill a 500-gallon tank of water. So we are not being productive, in a way that we are enhancing business. So Mayaro is really on the losing end. And when you look at the revenue stream that comes out of Mayaro and still comes out of Mayaro, the revenue stream through oil and gas that is being explored for on the southeastern peninsula, it is really not reflective in our infrastructure and so on. But again, it is government's policy that these things have to be built on. If we want a strong tourism policy for the southeast coast, we just can't build hotel. We have to make sure the roads, we have to make sure the policing is right, we have to make sure the water supply is right, we have to make sure the garbage disposal is efficient, because all these things works in tandem if you want to have a solution. And what bugs me the most is that we don't have to invent anything, Anselm. You have countries like, my friend there from Barbados. I visited Barbados, and I know you have your challenges as well. But as a visitor going there, I'm impressed by the way how things happen. Look, landing in Barbados is so simple today. You show your passport, your QR code, you get your green band or your red band, and you take a line and go. Trinidad, you land in Trinidad, you have to wait an hour to go through our process.
And hear the madness when I'm a born Trinidad, but hear the madness. What you come here for? How long you staying? Who you going by? What is the purpose of you? And they're real antagonistic with it. They're not friendly like, welcome to Trinidad and Tobago. How are you doing today? Nothing so. Passport and form, please. What you doing here? Who you staying by? I don't understand what this is. That is not the way to treat people.
Because we don't trust you. We talk about not being a trusting society. And let me tell you how this is going to work against us. The world is going to digital currency, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain. And all these things require trust. And if the foundation of our society is not a trusting society, how would those technologies move us forward? If you understand what I mean. That trust issue. And it comes out of our historical, not trusting one another in terms of our ethnic races. Whatever was planted by the colonizers back then, that has, it has kept us apart. I think even successful governments, sometimes they realize if we remain antagonistic against one another, you polarize your side and the stronger side win. You're bound to make sense in nothing. right? But as long as your polarized side has the better numbers, well, then we're good to go for another 5 years. How do we mature as a society? How do we, look at issues? How do we formulate plans together? And I always say that in our system, the buck stops with the prime minister. The prime minister is the man who is elected to lead. And if the opposition leader frustrating you, it is your job to reach out 100 times to make sure that the country moves forward. Because as prime minister, you have been elected to lead. You will meet all kind of people as a prime minister. Look, we had a massive cabinet reshuffle the other day. And the prime minister would have done that in his best wisdom to move the country forward. Whether we agree with his changes or not, that's another story. But the prime minister is elected to lead. So he has to reach out. He has to reach out to the 40 MPs and say, guys, the country is in a bad place. Can you ease up on the antagonism for 6 months? And we have 1 or 2 national issues we need to talk about, how we're dealing with COVID, how we're managing the pandemic, how we're going to manage opening back the economy. And I need your help because like I, Rushton Paray, I am the MP for Mayaro, but I must be convinced that the government policy has to work, and I must spread that in my constituency. I must be the champion. I must be the preacher. I must become evangelical, in my words, to spread the message. But the prime minister has to take that lead. He has to be the one to reach out and say, guys, we need to get together when we straighten this thing out with the pandemic, where we could go after one another when the election bell ring. But for now, we need consensus. And I really feel, Dr. Rowley, the onus is really on him to take lead and start putting us on a path forward here in Trinidad.
MP Paray,
Yes.
commissioning this video.
Yes,
Now,
Director.
good, thank you. And now we keep talking about the issues that are plaguing Trinidad, and constitutional reform is one of those that we are yearning for improvement on, or at least addressing it.
Yeah.
When the UNC was in power, I always say when the UNC was in power, they had an excellent opportunity to do something about it.
Yes.
And nothing was done.
Yes.
Even all the other little issues that are plaguing the country could have been, many of them could have been addressed. They weren't addressed because it seemed convenient to just put that aside and focus on other things, which I wouldn't even get into in detail. What say you?
Well, it is not only the UNC. Every successful government has talked in opposition about constitutional reform. And when you get into government, it isn't given the priority that it deserves. And what is going to happen to us now, and I suspect we're going to get stuck in a conundrum, where the last time, I think outside of 1986, when the Robinson administration had 33-3, they had the constitutional majority required for constitutional change. And in his 5 years, the only amendment to the constitution he made was the Tobago House of Assembly Act. So he makes sure that he fixed the Tobago House of Assembly Act to ensure that they got 3% or 4% of the national budget by law. And then you had the Municipal Corporation Act of 1990, which tried to take out the county council system and make municipalities. And up to today, you still have arms of the government still seen, like in the Ministry of Health. They don't see Mayaro Rio Clara as a regional corporation. They see county in a river. So they, 30 years after, have not done anything to change. So while it is maybe convenient to identify the People's Partnership as not making any headway, which you're right, I know they talked about a lot of things. Now, I wasn't part of that administration. I came into the politics in 2015. But I can tell you there were minor changes to the Local Government Act in terms of bringing in additional aldermen, the right to recount and so on, and there were some minor adjustments made. But the major things like fixed election dates, 2 terms for prime minister, all these things were spoken about, and it never happened. As to why it didn't happen, I wouldn't, give an answer to that. I can't say what was happened, but it is not unique that when governments come in, they talk in opposition about constitutional reform. When you get there, I mean, nobody wants to cut the breast out of a milking cow, So the power you have, I mean, the governments, they lose it. And now where you find you have very polarized election, I don't know when we might ever get a party in government with a full 3/5 majority to drive the kind of change if they want to, without having consensus now. Like right now, we are 1921. If there is no consensus across the board, nothing will change. And that is what has been happening for the last 6 years, in that there's very little consensus because the maturity that is required on both sides of the bench, sometimes the right language, the right body language, the right tone, it is not happening. And, it's a lot of, I would say sometimes, the gallery in the parliament, it happens. But unless that doesn't change, I can't see we having any real reform of the constitution. Unless you get a party that can sweep in with at least 28 seats to make constitutional changes on their own.
But Mr. Paray, can the opposition try to get a consensus from the people regarding to certain changes they would like to see in the constitution, even if the ruling party doesn't want to do so? And if the people decide, well, yes, right, a lot of the people in the country decides, listen, there are certain things in the constitution we want to change. For example, here are 2 or 3 things that we think we can work on, and pressure the ruling party in order for them to start to address these issues.
Well, it's nice to say that, but on the ground, it's a little different story, because every time we go to parliament, we do exactly that. So, for instance, on this Wednesday, the report on the Joint Select Committee for local government reform is coming to the parliament, right? Now, local government reform, everybody in this country agrees that we need change. That's a given. But there are about 8 or 9 parts of the reform that we don't agree with. So when we go to parliament on Wednesday, we will prosecute the matter for reform in the legislation that is before us, right? And that is akin to having the constitutional reform that you're speaking of. But what happens is that we will go there, we will offer all the suggestions, we will even make amendments to the legislation. And then because the legislation, local government is not enshrined in the constitution. So it requires no constitutional majority to change. So the government will have its way on Wednesday, and they are going to pass the local government reform bill. And it's going to happen with some major issues that we don't agree with. And I think, Anselm, the last time I was on your program, we spoke about the property tax, right?
Yeah. Right.
And that is one of the biggest hurdles that we don't agree with, in that the property tax, when collected, that money is not going to stay in the municipality. And we have a problem with that. Right now, under the legislation, the money is going to go to central government to spend at the whims and fancies of the Minister of Finance. And we're saying in the American model, as you would rightfully know, the money that goes into your city council, it is to fix your roads, your clean your drains, pay for your public school transport. That is not happening here. And we have said that we don't support that part of it. And we want to see that money should be firewalled, even if you split it 60-40, 60% goes to central government, but some portion of that property tax should stay in the municipality for the benefit of the burgesses. So that's just one out of several of them that we are going to offer suggestions and amendments to the legislation, but it happens in the parliament, not on the outside, as my friend had suggested. That you go out to the people and you talk about it, but it can happen. I can't say it cannot happen, and it's a very good suggestion, and I definitely would probably raise it up the next time we have caucus, and let's see if we get some traction on it.
Now, here is another question, right? With respect to property tax, I mean, we here in the United States and other parts of the world, we understand property taxes, and property tax plays a major role in our communities here in the United States of America. Now, to me, there are certain communities in America, in Trinidad, whereas that the property values are not high, right? So if you're going to collect property taxes from that community, they may not collect a lot of money, so to speak, because of the value of the property, right? How are you going to make up that difference if you are saying that, the money should not go into the conventional fund?
The consolidated fund, yes.
Consolidated fund. Going to the consolidated fund, it should go back into the constituency. How is something like that going to be addressed?
No, well, at the end of the day, if there's a shortfall, so let me give you an example for Mayaro, because I'm familiar with the Mayaro data. The municipal corporation in Mayaro is given probably between 80 to 90 million TT dollars a year for the administration of the municipality, right? Which is to pay salaries and wages, pay for your garbage disposal, and minor services to government buildings, markets, and so on. And you would be given about between 10 and 12 million TT dollars a year for what you call the developmental fund. That money is split across the 6 electoral districts, and that will go to do play parks and so on. But here was the challenge. Mayaro has 41,000 constituents, right? The regional corporation looks after 41,000 constituents. But there are other municipalities with half the population and gets twice the money. Tobago has less people than Mayaro, and they get $3 billion, right? Now, I'm not saying Tobago. Don't get me wrong. They like to quote me and say we don't like Tobago. I'm just using that as a reference. Mayaro sits on 201 square miles. Let me give you an example. In fiscal 2021, right now we have 79 landslips in the constituency. We have 14 bridges that needs replacing and about 75 kilometers of road that's under repair. The regional corporation made a request to central government for $23 million to address the concerns. You know how much money was allocated in 21? $4 million. So $4 million. And the government constrained for funds. We understand that. But look at the revenue estimated to collect from properties. Because remember, part of Mayaro is an industrial site as well. Right? So you have a lot of industrial complexes and so on. So we estimate that over $200 million in property taxes will be taken out from the Mayaro constituency to go into the consolidated fund. And this is what I'm saying. One of the suggestions that I plan to address on Wednesday is that let us be fair. The state has a fair amount of work to do. Let us say, look, let's do a 60-40 split because we want to get more services in Mayaro. And if you can lift that amount of money, put some back into our municipality that will help with taking care of the secondary roads, the bridges, and so on, and we make our executive councils more accountable to spend that money wisely, well, then we would go somewhere. But I mean, the question I think my friend had asked is about communities that have very low property values. Then what I would expect is that the central government will make up the balance. Now, remember, our municipalities are spread pretty wide in terms that you take up a lot of communities. Some may be a bit depressed, but some may be, be able to have certain values. But the state will have a role to play in terms of making up the balance. But this way of putting all the property tax, I can tell you from the estimates that they expect in property taxes for fiscal 22-23, whenever they turn that lever, right now it's in the vicinity for residential homes alone about $600 million, right? And when they bring on industrial sites, probably over the next year or two, you're looking at another $1.5 billion a year in property taxes. So again, my respectful view is that if some of the money remains in the municipality, it's going to help our playgrounds, our schoolyards and so on. I think those things will be critical for us in the municipality itself.
So now the 60-40 split that you're talking about, is that for across the 41 constituencies, or is that just for Mayaro?
No. I would probably ask that they look at an option of a 60-40, and wherever there's a shortfall, well, the consolidated fund makes up for it. But I really believe that central government, look, to me, any smart government should make local government a priority, because local government wins an election. Because if we are taking care of our constituents' basic needs, taking care of pothole, cleaning the drain, fixing the school ground, fixing the toilets in the schools, painting up the town center, beautification, those things impact high on the psyche. And any government spending the time and effort to improve the quality of people's lives on the ground, I don't think people care about major project and highway and skyrise building and thing right now, Anselm. I think any government focusing on local government, decentralization, I think that is how you win a general election, because you impact people at the end of the day in their most basic way. Water, power, road, those things. I think it's a winner for any government.
Now,
And
as you said,
safety.
guys, just 1 minute. I just want to address this real quick before I forget it. Mr. Parry, as you say that, right? I have something up on the screen, right?
Yeah.
And this is from a former UNC person, Fawood Khan.
Yeah.
He says, and I just wanted to address it real quickly. He says,
Sure.
our UNC must stop and think. Rowley is an astute politician. He placed Awari, who is a workaholic, in a vital delivery ministry. Also, Reggie Armour is a real SC like Anand. That will be a heavyweight contest in court. Camille is a grown person. Housen Padden takes that kind of animal. And Penny is a person who has the ability to work at the upper level, not the ground. My colleagues in the UNC, please take heed. Rowley has strategically started to screw us slowly, but we're busy attacking the wind like Don Quixote, De La Mancha, more citizenship. Farris demotion of local government is rats, drain, and rodents are BS responses by non-thinkers. Be serious, my friends. Stare into the mirror at our poor response and try to strategize to get our house in order. A blasted tidal wave coming on our AWS, and you all are not seeing it. I mean, I don't agree with everything that he says, but I just wanted to get your feedback on that. I don't know if you have seen it, but
well, I've seen it. I can tell you, Ford has been in the politics a lot longer than I have. Those guys have seen government, they have seen opposition. I think they understand the politics a lot better than me. I will not disagree with anything Ford has to say there. I think I respect his views. But if I were to just throw you back to a comment I made just 2 minutes ago, with the power of local government, and when you have someone like Faris Alwari, who is a hard worker, he understands processes, he understands systems, and most importantly, Faris Alwari is a star. And if Faris goes, the media will follow. So you really, if Dr. Rowley feels that he has prosecuted or persecuted Faris Alwari by sending him in local government, I think that's an error on his part. I think Faris is going to be a shining star in local government, and he's going to use every opportunity to do what he couldn't do as Attorney General. And
I told him he's liked by women. The women like him. The women vote. Yep. You have to be very careful. I said so.
I was told early in the politics that, listen, Rushton, you make sure that you look very handsome every time you go out there, and give all the women your phone number. Because when they lie down next to their husband in the night and the husband complaining, she go say, I have Mr. Parry phone number, I go call him in the morning. Right?
And it's said that when male politicians are liked by the female populace, they're usually successful in their endeavors.
So besides Faris being a very good-looking man as well, he is a performer. I mean, as Attorney General, he understands the use of ICT. So I think you know, for whatever it is, I don't subscribe to the position that local government is about drain and rat and so on. I think it's about impacting people at the most basic level. And if Faris does his job as I expect him to do, I think he will shock Dr. Rowley, and I think he will shock the rest of the country. And we in the UNC have to be very careful how we prosecute local government. Have to be very, very careful.
So, MP Parry, you know, based on your location, based on your involvement with the oil and gas industry, I wanted to raise the issue what transpired at Paria, the way the disaster or the accident was handled. I'm very annoyed to see the lack of performance and the government taking charge of this emergency situation, which we should have been a full-fledged rescue operation with the government grabbing the bull by the horn and bringing all the resources across the board in the country to rescue these men. I didn't see that effort. I see like they were either dumbfounded in some way or the other. They were like clueless. You know, I didn't see that kind of mobilization. And you know, I know you've been working with, you know, the disaster planning and all this emergency thing, and you're one of the MPs that led the way in this kind of thing. And this is where I really wanted to ask you tonight in that, there, but I need to see some things where our Coast Guard is prepared. But it seems like nobody imagined in the years of doing this business that we didn't feel necessary to train our Coast Guard to respond to underwater rescue. And we have been having these kind of jobs being done. We have even had drugs being smuggled through man-made submarines, so we don't do no underwater patrolling. So there's a long way to go with these kind of things. So I would like to see something done about the way how we are operating at this point, and I would like your input on what you would recommend.
Let me just address it quickly for you, right? Today is the 19th of March. The event happened somewhere around the 24th or the 25th of February, somewhere around then. And up to today, not an investigation has started officially. As you know, the committee collapsed. A commission of inquiry was spoken about. Up to today, no legal document has been provided to give power to this committee. There ought to be a presidential provision for it. The president hasn't seen the document. We're still short an expert who the government says that they were going to find to add to the two-man team that has already been announced. So officially, as of today, there has been no formal investigation into this matter. Now, when you compare that to when a plane goes down in the United States or anywhere in the world, within 2 or 3 days, the NTSB don't have they lock down data, they lock down evidence, and they already started stuff. We have not done that. So just to answer the question, I will not want to speak about what happened outside of the fact that a suction was created on the pipe that the 5 divers were working on. The water rose inside the bell and sucked them in one by one, and they all died, I assume, very, very tragically inside the pipe. We can only speculate that they were alive for any considerable amount of time. My gut feeling tells me that at 5,000 psi, which is what you calculate at a 30 diameter pipe, in terms of what you call the delta P, which is a phenomenon that happens underwater when you have a pressure leak in a pipe. You have a 30-inch pipe, and these guys weren't small guys. And that pressure pushing you through a 30-inch pipe going to break your neck, going to break your shoulder, break your arm. And I don't know if they would have survived beyond Friday night, but the investigation will find out. But this was the point of my query. I've been in the energy sector. I'm a telecommunications engineer by profession. So I haven't worked on pipes, but I've supported these types of projects over the last 25 years. I've worked in the industry, so I'm familiar with the HSE systems that are required on jobs like these, or what you call complex operations like these. Before this type of job should have happened, there's something called a risk analysis and a what-if scenario. Now, remember, this is not something new these fellas were doing. Underwater maintenance on pipeline has been happening for as long as the energy sector has been alive, the last 100 years. So they know about all these events. But the day before the actual work, teams from LCM, which is the diving company, Paray, which is the owner of the asset, and 1 or 2 specialists in the industry will sit down and say, walk me through what all the fellas going to do tomorrow. And at every stage of the job, they will have to identify what is the risk. And when they identify the risk, Paray, which is the owner of the asset, would say this is the mitigation we have in place. We have Coast Guard, we have divers, we have a chopper waiting to fly out a man in case he get damaged, we have a boat on the periphery in case we have an injury and so on. And they will all agree that every risk we have identified, we have a mitigation plan and we have a lever to pull to get some action. There's also another exercise that has to happen where they look at the whole scope of the job. And if the divers who are working on berth 5, what is happening up the road? What is happening down the road? And could any of these actions interfere with what the divers are doing? And there's another assessment that should have happened. Because it is rumored, and through social media, so I don't know how factual this is, that a vessel was allowed to berth around the same time as these divers were on berth 5, the vessel was coming to berth 6, and it created some unusual wave patterns, and that may have interrupted the pipeline and so on. But the point I'm making is that if these exercises were done properly before the work on Friday, there was a position that the incident commander froze for about 4 hours. They didn't know what to do for 4 to 5 hours. And when the Coast Guard came, and the guy who came up and he said, let me go down, the Coast Guard said, no, you're not authorized to go back down. And I understand the firearms were drawn against the family, the divers family and friends who came up, who said, listen, we're going to dive down into the pipe. Now, if all these issues were dealt with before the job started, having that lever to pull when the incident happened, it might have avoided having to wait for hours for a response. So the other part that I just wanted to say before you jump in is what would have happened after. So the incident has happened, the 5 divers are inside, or the 4 guys inside, 1 come out. What was the response of Paria? And that to me is the most significant part of this, right? You have 4 men stuck in our pipeline. For the next 24 hours, you had a family of these men outside in a tent in the car park. You don't have the courtesy to bring the immediate family into your conference room in Paria. Arrange to give them, an update every half an hour or what's been happening. The family was treated with scant courtesy. And when you look at the press conference, my friends, I don't know if any of you all saw the press conference on the evening. It was a disaster. You had the chairman, you had the CEO, Mushtaq Mohammed. You had Mr. Piper, who I understand he is the man that they are looking at very, very closely in terms of failing in certain duties at the end of the day. These 3 gentlemen had the worst performance of any crisis committee that I've seen in my entire life. And when you look at the fact that, the Prime Minister came in the country, I think the Friday night or Saturday morning, I think he was stuck in St. Lucia on Friday evening because of a flight. And it was very, very sad that the Prime Minister did not see fit to turn up anywhere around Paria or even visit the families. This is a national tragedy. This is not only impacting Trinidad and Tobago. We boast of a 100-year history in the oil and gas sector, and we couldn't mobilize a rescue team or have some sort of proper crisis communication system in place to deal with this. So it was really botched poorly. I think it is an embarrassment for Trinidad and Tobago in the energy world in terms of our response. But the Commission of Inquiry, the Commission of Inquiry is being put together not to find who is to blame, but is to understand where the processes failed, what systems failed, and to ensure that going forward, we never have to sacrifice another child, another son or daughter in any sort of incident in our sector again. And I think that is why, we're looking for a Commission of Inquiry to start that has the power of subpoena. And that was the biggest question with the committee. The committee that was going to be formed had no powers of subpoena. So they could have called Mr. Piper and say, look, come 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we want to question Piper. Go say, I'm busy. There was no compelling force of the committee, but with a Commission of Inquiry, he can be subpoenaed to present himself, give us a written statement, and then be subpoenaed to be questioned by attorneys on the matter. So that is where we're at as of today on the 19th. That Commission of Inquiry has not been set up as yet to start anything, and that is very, very sad as well.
But I want to see also not just the investigation of the Paria and how they handled, but also the role that the government played. Where was the Prime Minister? At what point he was notified? Why didn't he grab the bull by the horn? Because he is head of the National Security Council. Why Mr. Hines was not involved? At what point was he notified? These are the issues. I have major problem with what I see here. And I want to see some kind of course of action taking place and responsibility. I want this committee to be able in this report, it must bring out A to Z from even including the government response, not just what happened at Paris and where they fail, but our government failed big time in not being organized. We're in a technological age. I helped more than 500 people around the world with getting an exemption and providing food by playing with my phone.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what the government did for the weekend through the Minister of Energy? They set up a WhatsApp group to inform the family what was going on. I understand not one message was sent on the WhatsApp group. But Gary, just to bring your point across, the state has what you call vicarious liability, because at the end of the day, PARIA is a state agency. It is governed by state representative, and there's no way that the state, headed by the Prime Minister, taking into consideration that people die in this country every day. We have murders all over the place for all kinds of reasons. But this had an international impact in a very complex operation in one of our key industry. Let's assume the Prime Minister did not come back in Saturday. But Saturday evening, man, you could have reached out to the family, not even a phone call. That to me was very, very insensitive of the Prime Minister. I see he attended Mr. Selwyn Ryan's funeral yesterday, and I mean, he has every right to do so, but not a representative attending any of those fellas' funeral, any of the divers.
Well, I have a serious problem. I watched that carefully, how he was there for Selwyn Ryan, but he himself, as the Prime Minister of the country, should have shown himself. In fact, getting from straight into the country, he should have head to that location. And also, I'd see no reason, being of the age of technology we're in, why he could not give some directives from his location and mobilize things and drag all the resources necessary. I mean, you are very familiar with the Southern Command that was helping us train our people. You were very involved with them. We could not pull some resource from the embassy. We could not pull some resource from Venezuela. I mean, we had people in the country who've been skilled in this kind of a thing that we did not make a judgment call. We didn't call for no help. And they had the authority to pull the resources.
Again, Gary.
So Mr. Paray, before you answer, right, we want to go for a quick station identification. So hold that thought and hold that question to answer, Gary. It's in the village with the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us the MP for Mayaro, Mr. Rushton Paray. He has joined us, and we having a very discussion here in the village with the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Stick and stay, don't go nowhere. It's in the village with the DAG Triplets. We'll be right back after this short message.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. If you just joined us, we have with us in the village tonight no other than the MP for Mayaro, Mr. Rushton Paray. Mr. Paray, continue.
Yes, I was about to tell Gary that at the end of the day, if the right things were done in terms of the HSC requirements for any job, if the right things were done and all these systems were in place, then we would not have to even reach the point of the government response at the end of the day. Now, I want to bring this into the conversation now. In 2020, PARIA, which is the fuel distribution company, made $328 million profit. Heritage, which is the refining, not the refining, the exploration operations, which was formerly Trinma, they cleared $1.2 billion in profit. But it would be interesting to see what has been the health and safety spend for these organizations. And I'll tell you why I'm querying it, and I will do some research on it with their audited statements. In 2018, Heritage has an operation in Mayaro here, which is the former Petrotrin field in Guayagüeyari. And the fire personnel brought something to my attention that there were about 8 or 9 men in that station. There were no fire tender. there was a van, there is no ambulance, and 8 fire extinguisher, one for each one of the fire officer. Now you're telling me a field where you have natural gas pipelines being in the Beachfield facility running crisscross that entire field. We have bushfire during the dry season here in Mayaro, and we are not spending money on fixing those things. We had problems with tanks. There was last year in Labre, a tank collapsed, and thankfully there was only water in the tank. It wasn't fuel. Back then, the Minister of Energy, Franklin Khan, said that the containment had failed. But come on, man, not all of we, went to school last week. A containment, which is like a concrete periphery around the tank, is designed to only capture 1/3 of the fluid. There was like a deluge in the town when the tank collapsed. No maintenance. You have the Guaracara facility, which is the refining operations. You still have fuel that is coming through both 4 and 5 and 3, passing through those lines to fill the tanks for Paria to hold. Where is the maintenance on those things? And when you look at their maintenance costs, it keeps going down and down and down. And my question is, are we sacrificing profit for people? Because at the end of the day, the state wants these companies to look good. Because remember, we now shut down Petrotrin, break it into 3 pieces, 2 active pieces, 1 dormant piece. So have we told the board, listen, let's make sure that company look good, make sure the profits look good, and cut earlier at the cut? And to just the icing on the cake, Gary, when you look at the leadership in both Paria and Heritage, most of the positions, the leadership positions, are held by former Amoco and BPTT persons. Persons who I have the greatest respect in the world for. I grew up in the industry in Amoco. I've been a contractor there since 1996 as well. I know many of them. And I can tell you, they, like myself, have grown up in a sector where you have the highest regard for health and safety procedures. And when you have an incident like this under their watch, it is really, really, really a cause for concern. And that, to me, was my biggest concern, that you have these people who should know better, who should understand HSE better than I do, and this was allowed to happen under their watch. So it's really a cook-up rice of all kind of different things that went wrong, and we really need to correct this very, very fast, because we can't allow another son or daughter to collapse in any incident in our energy sector for the next 100 years. I think it would be a stain on us forever.
Whenever it's convenient, I would appreciate if you can either do a live or a video of the things that you're bringing to our attention in your constituency that you are trying to, that do like a special edition highlighting these things, because I think it's highly critical for you to have certain assets in place there in case, we run into, any situation there that the response is within reach.
Yeah.
And I know you've made a lot of effort and you've got a lot of help from the Southern Command, but our government needs to play a major role in this, in getting this done. So this is something I want to really beat the iron on,
Gary, you know why a lot of things don't happen in our country? Trinidad and Tobago is not a litigious society. We don't like to go to court, right? And the state and its malfeasance at times by their agencies, they are not hauled before the court. So we would drive on our pothole-ridden roads and then mash up the rims of your tires and so on. And we take it and we go, we cost 2-3 places and we go fix it and we move on.
That's how the grandparents raise us. Don't make no trouble now, boy.
If these things happen in the United States or Canada, they will haul the municipal corporation or the city council before the courts. And we don't do that here. So I think the state gets away with I don't like to use the word murder. I just use it in, figuratively. But they get away with so many different things because we don't put the government to court. We don't have class action lawsuits. You understand? So that is why I think governments don't fear the people, especially in this country. When governments start fearing people, they will get it right. And to top that off as well, Gary, we are not a society that have grown up understanding activism. Our idea of activism is drag 2 logs across the road and burn it and block traffic. That is not activism. Activism has to start in school. How do we train our children to be passionate about clean air, clean water, clean beaches? So when we grow up as a society with a culture of activism, we will demand more and better from any government. Whether I vote for you, I don't vote for you, I'll hold you to account. And we have not trained our children like that. And I think that is what we are suffering today, compared to when you look at very progressive countries in North America, in Europe, where, I mean, these people, the government make one bad move and 1 million people storm the town center. We don't do that here. And it's a cultural issue. And I think over time, I do hope as we articulate more and with the advent of social media and more people can address their concerns without feeling victimized and so on, I'm hoping in another generation, we should be able to get where most of these progressive countries are. And it's sad to say that is the length of time we may have to wait.
Well, Mr. Paray, it's always a pleasure when you come into the village. You share quite a bit of knowledge. And I think that's what's good about when you come into the village, to share knowledge, especially knowledge for people. You know, a lot of people in the chat, you know, want to hear knowledge, and that's always a good thing. You know, information, I think it's key.
Sure.
And you share quite a bit of information. So we appreciate that, you know, very, very kindly. Any closing words before you go? Well, by the way, one last thing before you go.
Sure.
What about that situation with the Prime Minister coming out and saying that he had some dealings with the Public Service Commission with regards to the merit list? What is
the
your
Police Service Commission?
Yeah, Police Service Commission. Yeah.
Okay, so from a strict constitutional position, the Prime Minister can advise anybody he wants. Right? The Prime Minister is the Prime Minister. He could call me, he could call you, he could call anybody he wants. But the Constitution does not allow him to leave his office, go to President's house, and stop the Police Service Commission head from proceeding with a procedural matter with the President. That is what he did. Right? The President herself confirmed that a high official, state official, came to President's house. Dr. Rowley denied it for many months. He denied it in all different form and fashion. I mean, some people saying, well, he really didn't deny it. It was semantics on his part. But while the Prime Minister is absolutely correct, as head, he could talk to whoever he wanted. He could send a message via fax, via mail, but he has no constitutional powers to leave Whitehall, go to President's house and tell Miss Blissy Prasad, look, I have a problem with the police commissioner. Look, hold that letter. How did he know that Gary was on the top of that list? How did he know that? To have to stop the commissioner. So again, constitutionally, the Prime Minister was wrong. He doesn't have the power to do that. And if we were a very progressive, I like to use progressive, because I see in some other jurisdiction, Prime Ministers and Presidents facing jail time. In this country, no Prime Minister, no President, no MP, no government minister does serve jail time in this country. And a progressive nation, you would have had, I mean, the state agencies, the police already on top of that. But it's like any other thing, it will die a natural death, and I believe nothing will happen for it. But the Prime Minister was wrong. He had no right to go to the President's house and stop the process. He doesn't have the power to do that.
So who is within power? Who has the power? Does the people have the power to call on some, you know, legislative body to say, well, to make him answer, to, you know, bring him up before a tribunal or something?
No.
Is that allowed in the Constitution?
No.
So he just does what... Go ahead, sir.
So a Prime Minister under the Westminster system is more powerful than an American president. An American president still has to come to Congress. He still has to account. A Prime Minister is what we call a Westminster dictator. He has,
and because of the republic, the status of being a republic.
Yep. He has all the power of a dictator as a Prime Minister. He doesn't have to consult with anybody. What he says goes, what he says is law. There is no legislative system. Do you know what you call your judicial committees or your committees of Congress, you have powers of subpoena. You can file criminal charges and so on. Our joint select committees, although we can bring public servants before us to give testimony, we have no power of compulsion. We can't compel them. There is no fines. There is nothing that we can do if they refuse to answer. And that is the weakness that we have.
So not even the president has a say in Miss Paula Weeks has a say in like intercepting him and having a conversation. There's nobody in Trinidad and Tobago can say, Dr. Rowley, this ain't right. We need to sit down and talk. Does the people have the power to make him come out and, apologize or something?
Yeah,
we
do it every day. I mean, we shout at him. We, politically, we go on platforms.
They ain't making no sense. Then you know what they need to do? I hate saying it, shut down the whole country. Nobody don't go to work and show him who is the real boss. He ain't collecting nothing. Not the hospitals. Nobody don't go. This is not your words. This is my words. Nobody don't go nowhere and don't go to work. Public servants don't do nothing. Don't do nothing till he fixes it. That's what they need to do.
Well,
banana republic.
We live in a society where the price of a motor car is $1.2 million. We'll complain about the price, but two man go and buy it, You understand? So again, it is because of our history. The failure of our education system to create this culture of activism where we're willing to stand. Too many times we defend our party. The UNC does something wrong, I defend it. The PNM does something wrong, my PNM friend defends it. Very few people in the society, and this is why I must give commendation to Senator Rambarat. Senator Rambarat made a position clear. He has some issues on corruption within the ministry. And my gut feeling is that he raised the matter and there were people unhappy with it. And he decided, look, I am taking a stand. I want no part of it. And he left. And for whatever the reason, I mean, he was my political opponent. As I say, he was never my enemy. We had a very good relationship in Mayaro here. We are both Mayaro boys. And we worked very, very closely. He being in government, I being in opposition. But we were serving the same clientele here in Mayaro. And that is what you want. You want people who are willing to stand up against the party that they support and say, wrong is wrong, right is right. And I think at that point, I think we will progress as a nation.
Then all in cahoots then, because
everyone.
It ain't where they're not. Everybody frightened to stand up to him. Let me tell you all something. There's a force more powerful than Dr. Keith Rowley, and that force is named God or Allah, whatever you want to call him, Jehovah. Yep. God is more powerful than Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Let him go ahead with his nonsense. God is coming and shift the knobs on a draft board and say, no, I like this play here. I want this play done this way. I'm living testimony of that. God moves his knob on his draft board and he upsets the whole apple cart. Okay, y'all continue.
I also know how God operates, right? God helps those who help themselves. And I feel as Trinidadians and Tobagonians, we have not become sufficiently motivated to want to help ourselves for God to intervene. And I mean, I wait for that day to happen. And I don't know. I could raise a discussion on why we are how we are at another invitation. I have a thesis on that I would love to share with you guys one of these days, but that would be for another discussion. But it's really something that unless we the people don't make the press for it, it's going to happen. When you look at voter turnouts, local government is like 20%, general elections is about 60%. That is nowhere near the voter turnout that you need to send a message to the government of the day. Hey, 90% of us put your day. You're going to do what we want.
Thank you.
That doesn't happen.
And everything is they're jamming still. I taste a carnival, wine and jam, lime, and they're not serious about nothing. And we here out here in the diaspora fighting. Anselm started the cause with the stranded citizens and Gary. Many people we help, and what are they doing? They push back. I don't know what went on with that. but they need proper organization. And I tell them, pull a Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler on him. Don't go to work. Shut the whole place down and let him see who is boss. But everybody like to frighten for he.
When you have the unions that are in bed politically with parties as well, you know, look, this is what happens most of the time. The unions jump into bed with a political party, and then whereas you could have that Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler movement, they've been watered down. And let me tell you, Dr. Rowley call all them fellas for what they are. You know, he tell them, I think Manning had done it in his last administration when he said 0, 0, 0. And if all they want to vote for me, or look at kiss my backside, and they still vote for him. So he called them out. So again, the independence of institutions is what has been eroded over the years. So the police, the AG's office, the every institution has been eroded of its independence. So we have a kind of incestuous relationship happening where everybody, so the prime minister puts the president there, Bliss is this one friend, the AG partner was the one who gets
thank you.
Nobody had to check
and the speaker, the house husband sits on the board at Paria, and everybody's
that's why I use the term incestuous
bourgeois society.
So there is no demarcation, no firewall between institutions to make sure that the right thing is being done. And I'm telling you, Trinidad has a lot of good people, smart people, bright people, but I think they are the point of frustration that we feel that nothing can change. And I do believe as a country, I think we have a lot of good people in it. I think we have a lot of good people in the politics, in the legislature, in the public service. I think what is missing in our country today, my friends, we need astute and sound and credible leadership in this country. And I'm not pointing fingers at the PNM or the UNC alone. We're talking about leadership in the public service, in the private service, in teachers and principals and pastors in church. I think we've lost that leadership. We have given it up. We have surrogated it out to someone else. So, I mean, I told my constituents a couple months ago, probably last year, let us write, let all of us, let's send 10,000 letters and email to WASA, to the Regulated Industries Commission. Let's complain about our water supply. You know what one lady goes on Facebook and say? Paray, you're too damn lazy, that your work. Yeah, she tell me I'm too lazy, that is my work. So I'm one voice. But if 10,000 of us clog the mailing system of the RIC, clog WASA, you tell me they wouldn't respond?
But that's what Barack Obama did here in the US. He tell you go and write your congressman when he had an issue.
That's right.
He called on the population. He said, write your senator. And he called for a course of action. You know, and these people don't seem to understand what you're talking about.
She tell me I'm too lazy, that is my work.
I remember a year ago, last year, before the pandemic, there was the lights went in the district I was living in the Bronx, and it was hot and miserable. Just before I wrote to the person who Bowman is his name. I said, listen here, I don't want no water, I don't want no light. It's hot. I need ice water. I need. And they find somebody from his office, and they came to my house with a cooler full of water, ice, and all kind of thing, huh? But you know why? They wanted my vote.
That's correct. They
wanted my vote.
We take people's votes for granted. And do you know as MPs here in our system, as an MP, I am not given $1 to spend. Every single dollar I spend comes out of my pocket. The state doesn't provide us money to buy a banana for anybody, not even an apple.
So where's the money going?
I don't know.
Where's the people talk?
As MPs, we don't get any funds. We don't even have a say on the development of the constituency from the government side. There is no provision. There's no system for I as the MP to sit with the government representatives about infrastructural development of the constituency. I could go to Parliament and complain, and if the minister feels to fix the road, he fix the road. But there is no system where I, as the elected representative, can talk about national policy and national development. No. In our system, as an opposition MP, we have absolutely no say on what the developmental policy of my constituency should be in relation to national development. There's no provision for that anywhere in the Constitution.
So you see, that's why the Constitution has to change in Trinidad and Tobago. So, Mr. Paray, any closing words before you go?
Nope. I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I always like, when I come here, this is the second time I've been on your program. I like the point, the points that you raise, the questions that you raise. It allows me to speak very apolitical. It gives me an opportunity to discuss issues outside of the political banner. And I think that is what drives the education. And I hope it sparks people to think outside of the political box as well, and how we could do better as a society. And I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do that.
And we thank you for coming in and sharing such fantastic information as well. We always appreciate that. And that's what we like to do here in the village with the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. So thank you so much.
I want you to do a live with your road system, so I can get on, what's his name? Garcia and Sinanan? I can get on their cases. Yeah.
I'll do one for you.
Holy name. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, so we'll be in touch. Thank you again. We want you to come back again and update us on what's going on.
Will do. Take care.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Parry.
Have a good night, Mr. Parry.
Pleasant night.
Okay. All right.
What's
so folks, there you have it.
Prime Minister go do what he want.
Mr. Rushton Paray. Let me say, there's a person by the name of First Name. I don't know if that's a new person or if it's that a person that changed the first and the last name to first name. So, First Name, welcome. So let me just read some things here in the chat. Hailey says, Ansem, we all know how it does go down in Trinidad politics. Is anything criminally, illegally possible? Vonnie Roberts says, Diana,
Or they like to jam too much. Jam the system and don't go to work. And show Dr. Rowley who's boss. I bet you he fix things. All the little liming and laughing and giggling with this man.
4 men down in a pipe,
Please.
down there. Jamming.
Please.
Carnival going as usual, no issue.
Yep, taste the carnival. All they need to jam the place. Don't go to work. Nobody goes nowhere. Except the hospitals, because them people can't help themselves.
Vonnie Roberts says, Diana, how much passport you need? You have the most powerful passport.
I have 3.
All right. Albert Montano says, Diana, these things were explained to us by good lawyers like Carl Hudson Phillip and Israel Khan. Oh God, everybody. Diana, you could be a PM in Trinidad once he is a PNM. Hailey says that.
Well, I don't belong to no political party. I have no aspiration of being prime minister in Trinidad because they ain't gonna like me. Because I am not gonna go down with the foolishness. The country will run properly. You understand? I know you see the corruption. I starting there first. You're corrupted, you're gone. You're gone.
The views of MP Paray is the kind of people we need to get a little more highlighted because this is essential, very essential. He's basically saying the same thing we've been saying,
He shared some good information. I got to be honest with you. He shared some good information. He had a lot of good information that he shared, which I think was very important. Rene Mohammed says, Diana, we love you just the way you are. Don't entertain that PM thought.
No.
Ansem, you think he bright, but can't be aging in your own country. Ansem, what's wrong with you? Sometimes Balize juice, you mess up your head, boy. Right, Hailey?
You're all not easy.
No, but
we expect from Hailey. Albert Montano says Diana is a citizen of Barbados as by percentage and a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago by birth. Yeah, he's a percentage citizen.
My mother and father are 2 Bajans. I am 100% Bajan. Hold your tail.
Yeah, they can't be Eugene, Trinidad and Tobago. Albert Montano says, Diana, plenty so-called senior council don't understand the laws. That's why we still have to go to the Privy Council for a ruling. That makes sense.
They didn't even understand what they're supposed to do as a government when this emergency take place. When Brett took place, the same thing. Like everybody was just looking around at each other and they didn't know what to do. All right.
Diana,
So
yeah.
Diana, your friend Eugene Julian say good night.
Hi, Jeannie.
in fact, was Gary Griffith had that the emergency response.
Yeah. Your friend in Washington. In Washington. He moved from Virginia to Washington.
Good for him.
Yeah.
We have two political parties with the same agenda. When they are in opposition, they know exactly what to do. And when they're in power, it's a different story altogether.
But Tommy, this is where we come into play. We don't say nothing.
Too much of bacchanal and too much of corruption, too much of...
But Diana, Tommy, and Gary, let me tell you all of this, right? Watch, I tell you all you, what will happen? You see, when we start on this bandwagon with this dual citizenship thing, and us here in the diaspora fighting for them to change the constitution, watch how them Trinidadians turn on here, them Trinbagonians, watch. Only watch, I tell you all you know, you know. Look how the turn we do in COVID-19 with stranded citizens.
Yeah, keep all the COVID ass out there. They send all the COVID US money, but don't keep all the COVID ass out there.
They won't be COVID tail to come there now to bring the US dollars in now, eh?
No,
so
you know, people like Hailey and them go turn on all you know. All you go ahead.
But another thing, the young politicians don't really get a voice, you know.
Listen.
Look like they don't have any opinion, they have no ideas. Because
Tommy, people like Hailey and Fishstick and Von Urabat and them go turn on all you know. They will say, why all you living out there? All they want to serve two masters. All they stay in America, stay in all the snow, stay in all the winter. Why all they want to come back here for? And if all they want to come back, all they have to give up all the citizenship. All they can't serve two masters.
Diana, I'm shutting you down from giving any money, eh? You hear me? Not a damn cent. Not a damn cent from now on, eh?
Gary, that is different. She's a humanitarian, so she can do that.
No, I'm shutting she down. If I hear she take up money to give somebody.
There's one more person I have to, and it's an important cause in the Beetham. So I'm working on that. Okay. But nobody can just call me out of the blue. Hey, I short my light bill and I short this and no.
Hailey says
what we want to do is fix the TNT, you know. We truly want to fix Trinidad and Tobago.
Tommy, all they want to fix Trinidad and Tobago, all they give up on their citizenship and come back to Trinidad.
Stupid people.
All they don't talk from fast. All they don't talk from all the way up in America. All they know what people going through in Trinidad and Tobago.
But here, they don't understand. They're using Facebook to post all kind of stupidness, right? All kind of bacchanal. But they can't use the technology to resolve one problem, you know. Not one problem.
But guys, you know, you gotta use Facebook and TikTok and
Snapchat and all them things. And who there with who and who forget to sleep with who and who do this and do that. But when it comes to resolving an issue,
who sleep with who, Gary? Let's talk about that too.
What's that?
Let's talk about who sleep with who too. I don't know.
You don't see what's going on out there, man. The more bacchanal they see out there, and they had the videos and the pictures to post too.
You pledge allegiance to another country, you cannot serve in Trinidad and Tobago.
Who's that one? Who's that one?
Rajvi.
You see what I tell you? Rajvi come out from Monday Stone, boy. Rajvi come out from Monday Rock. See what I tell you? Rajvi. And I even call Rajvi name. Rajvi started a pet story and I told you, all the better stay in America. But let me read some quotes, let me read some other comment here. Hailey says, in the light of all the crap going on in Trinidad because of the government, the athletes make us still shine on the earth like second sun. Eh? Hey, Hailey, but you preach, boy. And but listen to this, eh? Listen to this, eh? The government has starved them athletes and them, eh? Starve them. And look, Jerome Richard gone to the World Indoor Championships. He didn't only win a gold medal, you know. He broke the World Indoor Championships record. He ran 45 seconds flat. 45 seconds flat. I think the government had some plan when you win a gold medal, you get $1 million. I hope we win millions.
That plan was under Kamla. I don't know if it exists still.
No. I think it's still existing, man. I cut it in half to 500,000 because that money in the treasury. But Jerry Mitchell made us proud, and not only that, but he was doing it for Dion Lendo also. The guy who just passed away, right? So the man was running with a heavy heart, so he runs scared and he win. And we in Trinidad and Tobago, a little 1.3 million, think about that, 1.3 million. We beat the big bad USA with millions and millions of people have more thing than we. And we think about it, and as I always tell them, scholarships. You see, Jerry Mitchell don't train in Trinidad. It's a good thing he don't train in Trinidad.
Boy, is all that mango and sugar the man suck and dash and eat. You talking about training here and there. Is it good food eating Trinidad? What wrong with you?
That's right.
It's a good thing outside. Because if he was in Trinidad, right? The PNM would have locked him down. He can't use nothing to train. No. He have to train inside somewhere. Yeah, indoor treadmill had to train. In America, boy, he was outside training.
Curries, they wouldn't like me. I'm too outspoken and opinionated. Good.
They don't like you. Hey.
Good.
Troy Smith says, good night, everyone in the village. Now lock on. Just come from pushback 4. It was a failure. Pushback.
Oh, no.
Already see that pushback? They need to push out.
that look like a push mama guy.
Push out. I tell them already, when you're doing this thing, all you have to do this thing for country. All you have to go across all
they had to bring music. They had to organize a carnival style pushback. That's the only pushing.
No, they need to organize no carnival style pushback.
Boy, you see the turnout for the carnival and no turnout for the other thing because they are the right thing going on. You have to wine and jam pushback.
No, people go turn out for carnival regardless. Carnival is a cultural thing.
No, but yeah, that's what I said. It's a carnival mentality, people. You have to have a wine and jam pushback. That's all you get the people out.
No, nobody ain't going to that. Nobody going to that.
Everybody just studies.
You have to find out from Andy Williams what direction he really pushing him because me and know.
Them fellas need to do a pushback in all 41 constituencies.
That's it. Capisa say he wants a barrel sent with some canned food.
Boy.
Wow, he's a cat now.
Okay, let me see what. Hold on. Eileen says, Eileen only attacking Ansem tonight, boy. I like in attack mode tonight, boy. Eileen, like you talk to Watchman or what? You attacking him full force, Get him, boy.
Get him.
I feel like we have Watchman number. I feel so. Ansem here because America is smart people. Oh no, he not attacking me, boy. Eileen, I take that back. Eileen say Ansem here because America is a smart people in government. But when it comes to Trinidad, all right, let me read it. Oh, yeah. All right. Answer yes, because America is smart people in government. But when it comes to Trinidad, it's PNM and UNC we have, They only care about bad talking each other. It's real. Real.
When they're in opposition, they know everything.
But listen to this, I have to give Rushton Paray credit, The man come in and talk,
But you see that different quality of horse, man.
Go back again him credit. You see again.
I'm just telling you. You gotta give more credit than credit there.
I'm not finished.
You gotta give an American Express credit. You can't just give a little.
No. When there's a PNM, you're not supposed to give no UNC people credit. You're supposed to find a reason not to give them credit. Whether they come good or they come bad. When they come good, they come bad. When they come bad, they come bad. Right? But let me say this. That fella, right? I don't know him, I don't know him. But the information he gave out was very informative. You see? And if we have more, because the PNM could criticize the UNC and the UNC could criticize the PNM, that ain't doing nothing. And as I told people in the PNM, I don't want to hear you criticizing Kamla Prasad Besessa. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear all criticizing the UNC. The UNC not in power. 7 years the UNC not in power. We're criticizing the UNC. Every time we come on a radio program, oh God, the UNC is this, and the UNC.
And the PNM, yeah, me too. I tired of it.
Just do the right thing for the people, do the right thing, and only will get re-elected easy. But if we don't do the wrong thing, what do we expect?
But I see one more thing, Ansem. This is one more thing I see happening. The fisherman who got shut out in the sea is a UNC constituency, so that is Kamala problem. Right?
Oh, Jesus,
the 4
Lord.
divers who got stuck out there, you understand?
No. I don't think they say that though.
No, they say it, but they say how they operating. If something happens, we don't see a government. We don't see a government for all the people.
No, but they didn't act. But Gary, they didn't act like it was a UNC constituency. They didn't act like that.
In Gary's opinion, he's saying.
You didn't hear what Hines said. You didn't hear what Hines said.
No, but he didn't. I don't think he said about the incident itself. He might have said something else.
Starting with the fishermen that got shot up from the guys up in where they came up from Sea Lots there and ambushed the guys, the fishermen out in the sea there, right? Out in Orange Valley or wherever the place out there was, right?
No, but
I have been watching. I've been watching the anthem, and I'm seeing this kind of attitude as not being the government for all the people in the country.
But Gary, we have to be fair, Gary. We have to be fair, and we try to be fair here. That is how the politics is run in Trinidad when another party in power.
But that has to change. I didn't see Kamala operated like that. As much as I have my issues with her, I didn't see she operate like that.
No, Gary, that's not true. That's not true. No, that's not true. Gary, when the PNM is in power, you remember what Gypsy had said? Gypsy said he's going to look after the people who voted for him in his constituency.
But he's the MP there. He's the MP there.
So that's what
the prime minister. He was the prime minister.
No, it shouldn't be like that.
No, you didn't hear the Minister of National Security saying those statements. You didn't hear the Prime Minister acting like that.
Guy, what I'm telling you is this. What I'm saying is that regardless of which party is in power, if you are the ruling party, if you have the 21 seats, you are the party for all the people in the country. You are not the party for just PNM constituency. If the UNC is in power and the UNC has 21 seats, the UNC should not be only for the 21 constituencies that they have won. It should be for all the country. And that is what we should be pushing. We can't be pushing one side and say, oh God, all they're doing is PNM constituencies. But when the next side in power, they do the same thing.
No, you have to be for all the part. That is the problem.
That's what it is. We have to be for all 41 constituencies. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And we have to stop both sides, right? Encouraging that. Because if we saying that, when the PNM in power, all the PNM look after is their constituencies. Yeah, okay. But when the UNC in power, they look at their constituencies too. We have to say it's unacceptable. All right.
There are certain responsibility that belongs to the MP, but when certain disaster or incident takes place, it requires a national governmental response. If the national government supposed to respond, I mean, you don't see them respond, man. It's like pulling elephant teeth to get them to respond.
But Gary, I am agreeing with you. Gary, think about this, right?
Just back to this same Paray situation here. The Prime Minister missing in action.
And Gary, I have called out the Prime Minister in that situation.
The Minister of National Security was in the country.
He was?
And he missing in action.
But Gary, think about this, right? Look at what happened.
He was in the BTM the next day.
Gary, look, there you go. I was going right there. Look what happened in the BTM. The Prime Minister didn't go, and the UN and the opposition leader didn't go. So if you're gonna say the Prime Minister, yes, the Prime Minister is supposed to go because he's the Prime Minister of the country. But I believe as well that the opposition leader have a responsibility as well to go.
Yes, that most definitely. She didn't show up either.
So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that
she didn't even show up on the Paray location there where the family is and call out the Prime Minister and say, how come you're here, not here, Dr. Rowley? She didn't show up. So she could go to in the next election, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh!
Yeah, you want me to say it again? Kamala Prasad say second go to. She can hit the high road. Gary, you want me to say it again? I say Kamala Prasad say second hit the high road too. All right.
Lord have his mercy.
She and Dr. Rowley could go on vacation.
Should I put the Views and Opinion Express? Oh, Gary, you lose 20 friends. You lose 20 friends now in each chat.
I don't care. Let me tell you something. I did for she didn't do for me. Okay?
Gary, you lose 20 friends.
I did for she didn't do for me. She never do a damn thing for she didn't even know who I is.
So,
okay?
But
I'm telling you, I am here. I'm not here to worship any leader or any political party. I am saying that she fall along on the job too.
Oh,
yeah.
You don't just go in parliament and talk and go on a platform and talk.
Yeah.
Okay?
Gary, but let me say something. Did you send her a text and encourage her to
go? I don't waste time with this lady.
Oh.
What do I look like? I beg you for a job or a contract or a CPF
contract? What did Mrs. Kamala Prasad do to you?
I don't waste time. Listen to me. I am not going to chase nobody who feel it too important. We got rid of the Queen of England, and we don't need no Queen of Trinidad, no King of Trinidad.
She's the opposition leader. Kingsley.
No, she's queen. She has acquired queen status.
Kingsley says she's the mother of the nation. Kingsley called her the mother of the nation.
No, Kingsley mother of the nation, not mine. So let me tell you something. I have a limit, you know. Each man has a limitations, and I have mine. All right. Why I gotta keep chasing or chasing Dr. Rowley?
They say, Gary, they say you're tripping and to leave Kamal out of this. You're not living in Trinidad.
Let me tell you something. If I was the opposition leader, I would have been there, and I would have called out to the Prime Minister too and say, "I am here. Where are you?" Okay.
Gary, I feel them people feel like me now. They feel like somehow I have a bone to pick with Dr. Rowley. I feel you have a bone to pick with Mrs. Kamala.
Of course, I have a bone to pick with all of them.
Okay, you're admitting it then. All right.
I have a big lamb leg.
Oh, a lamb leg?
Oh, better than a cow leg too.
I was not going to answer that. A cow leg?
Yeah, a bison leg. I have to pick with them. And who
elephant leg too?
I don't care. All right. I am sick and tired of this kind of high and mighty attitude with these politicians in Trinidad and Tobago. I am sick and tired of their inaction in an emergency situation, especially in an emergency situation. Drop what the hell you're doing and find yourself there.
Gary, all them people used to agree with you and agreeing with you now.
I don't care. Yeah. Listen to me. I ain't running for no fame. I ain't trying to be famous or running for no award here. I am telling you, an emergency situation, you have to drop what the hell you're doing and find yourself there.
Somebody tell you drink water and mind your business.
No, I don't drink punching and mind client business.
Oh, Gary, let me just read some of these here, Gary. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Vonnie Roberts said, wonder why no PNM MP does come on this show. Vonnie Roberts, what we have done, we have invited several MPs. Even Gary invited the partner, Fitzgerald Hines. I have invited the Prime Minister. I've invited Colin Wood. I've invited
I've invited Esmond Ford. I've invited other MPs.
Me too. I invited
Esmond Ford is my partner.
But my partner too. I invited Mayan Gadsby Dolly, the Minister of Health. I mean, the Minister of Education.
The only person who is not my partner is the Minister of Health and the Minister of Energy.
I invite the Minister
of Everything. He's not my partner. We're no friends.
Yeah.
He had an opportunity. He had an opportunity to become my partner, but he messed up that real bad.
All right. Vonnie Roberts said, I thought Ansem had contact with his party. you know what thought make a man do? He went on top of a hill and jumped.
Vonnie Roberts, Ansem is PNM International, eh?
He thought he could fly. He went up a hill and he jumped off a bridge and he thought he could fly.
Ansem is the CEO and CFO of PNM International.
I said the Prime Minister have the power to do a lot of things, but he still do. Somebody is boss. He does what he wants. I'm just finished with this, Dana, quickly. Albert Montano says, Vonnie Roberts, no PNM MP can appear on this talk show. That is the rules in the PNM party. Oh God! Here, all I have Vonnie Roberts say, I'm going to put that up on the screen. I mean Albert Montano. Albert Montano says, Vonnie Roberts, no PNM MP can appear on this talk show. That is the rules in the PNM party.
But you know
When
what?
Robert,
You know what pissing me off is that the fact that we have stood up to a system, all right, and they don't care to answer.
no, I think this is what it is. I think that when a party is in power, they do as they please. Once the election is over, they forget about you, and 6 months before the next election, if the election is called 6 months before, right, or 3 months before, then they start to know you again, and that's the way politicians are.
In fact, I know what, I am staying out of all elections going forward because these people don't know us after they will get into power.
Yeah, correct is right. So First Name says, you are correct when you said that advocacy is weak in this country. We claim to be a democratic society, but in reality, we are being dictated by the two most highest office in the land. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Ronnie Roberts says, he hire and fire, he's the boss. You don't have to listen to no one, Diana. And I hear that? Ronnie Roberts say that. I'm going to get back to the chat now.
You gotta listen to God.
Oh, look one here. Kapiza says PNM put Ansem in the Potong house. What?
Anyway, guys, I have to say good night. I got to split. I got some things to deal with here.
Yeah, Gary. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. I'll catch up with you guys later.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Diana, pizza.
Good night.
Where's the Potong house? Where's the Potong house?
No?
Where's the Potong house?
I don't have a patong. I have a pedigree dog, so I don't know about no patong.
Oh, pizza, where you going? I'm on for many Potong houses. He ain't for many houses, he for many Potong house.
Yeah, that the one by the old mango tree with on top of 2 concrete blocks, and when the wind fall, you pray rain don't wet you.
John wicked boy. Oh God, John, you're wicked. Gary
gone.
Gary, listen to this. John says, thank God Gary gone. John, that's not nice, John. Oh, John, you're wicked, girl. You're wicked. John. Oh God. Gary welcome that tonight, boy. Von Roberts Ansem. If Rory says he went to meet you in New Jersey, you will again organize a line for him. Von Roberts, how you know that? How you know that?
You have a better chance in Connecticut.
But you ever say that to yourself? You hear that? I ain't saying nothing. Eh?
You have a better chance in Connecticut.
Okay. Oh God, look, Joan defending, boy. Joan says, "Oh, I think Diana read this already, right, Diana?"
Oh, what?
I'm Joan. It's on the screen there.
No, I ain't see it.
It's on the screen.
I'm looking at the relay on my computer. I can't see my phone.
Says, Kamal has no say. They are the opposition. The Speaker of the House shut them down. Gary, you don't see that? God, John attacking Gary, boy. God, John going after Gary tonight, boy. Hey, Nizam, we invited Mrs. Kamala Prasad Besese, and she confirmed, and then she unconfirmed without confirming with us. Kapiza, what we bring Sham for? What you gonna talk about? How she just play netball?
Yeah, we invite you.
Would she get permission?
Well, Albert Montana said nobody ain't getting permission, so I don't know if she go come. Exactly. We could invite all of them, Albert. Well, use your PNM contacts and invite someone for we.
Albert get back a party card.
Yeah. Alice Kamala in the corner, hiding, rolling in the corner, hiding from
the people.
From the people. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to start now looking at what's next, what's the best option and support it.
Yeah,
because
Joe says, yeah, Ron, you're right. Out of time and talk from Gary.
Oh Lord. Ooh.
Left and right is the same thing.
Ronnie Roberts said, it's looked like they are told not to appear on your show. I mean, they suppose.
But that's okay.
I agree with Gary, yes. I didn't say I agree with Gary.
They're going to be making room for the new dynamic leadership that's coming.
Who's that, the PNM?
Or the others, whoever is told not to come, they're going to be making room for what's best.
So don't let them come then. When the PNM gets kicked out of government, voted out like they were voted out in Tobago, they'll understand.
Hey, Ulrich say like me shoot. Ulrich, thanks, boy. You know what I mean?
Tell Ulrich that they make with them pretty color cloth he used to be wearing. You know?
Ulrich, thank you. If you notice, Ulrich, Diana, no Gary, no Tommy said anything about my shoot, eh? But thank you very much, Ulrich. I really appreciate that. You are the only one, Ulrich, that came in and said any nice thing about my shoot. Everybody other did not say anything. Not even the co-host. Not even the co-host is yes. The co-host is. not even the co-host is here.
We had a long discussion about your shirt. You lost your mind. And I said I want to, in the beginning of the show, and I said I want to wear a Puna shirt.
But nobody wasn't there yet. We was on here.
Yeah, we were on here. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I said I want to wear a Puna Augustine shirt.
A Puna
Look like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but what does that name translate to? The ventilation?
What, Puna Augustine?
No, la ventil.
Love until. That's what it translates.
No. That has to be French or something, or Spanish or something.
No, it's love until.
It's Lavant Hill.
Lavant Hill.
The VNTILLE has to be window or something.
Really? Nine.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I must research that. Yeah.
Yeah. I know Chumakak is Chumonkey Bam Bam.
So God, so don't make me laugh.
A macaque is a monkey.
Every time I hear that.
No. A macaque is a monkey, true monkey. Right? A macaque is a monkey. You know that, right? I mean, I'd rather tell you that.
How you spell love until now?
LAVENTILLE.
LA is the...
Yeah, you got it?
I'm looking.
All right, let me see this. Let me try something here and see if I could do this.
A song or something. I send you a song.
I'm trying something here. I'm trying something new here. Let me try something. I'm gonna try see if this will work here. All right, let me see that. Play this. Get this right here. Get this here. Let's see if this is it. All right, here we go. All right, listen to this. I think this will work. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm very happy. We are willing to engage you at any point in time. I do look forward to your next story. Thank you.
So there you have it, folks.
Yeah, Anselm?
Yeah.
La ventil means the vent in English. It's
the
French.
Vent? Oh, it's French? Okay. All right. So let me try to get...
You get anything, Tommy? Lavantil is a ward of Trinidad and Tobago. That's why I get in. I ain't getting none.
I went doing some research and it says the vent, French meaning in English the vent.
You see, we big in the dance, man.
You big in the dance?
Yeah, we big in the dance, man. Love until, man. You know, you guys know about love. I call it love until.
The Tuna Puna. Is that?
Puna.
St. Augustine.
Hold on. Let's get this one here. This is Farley responding with respect to the 100 $70-something thousand that was spent by the THA in Doha, and they were being criticized for it. And of course, the THA chief responded to it immediately. Hold on, let's get that. Hold on. All right, let's get that one.
So then tunapuna mean what? Rotten fish?
That's what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let me look it up.
All right, let me listen to this.
From the information we see from Trinidad is that the Dubai government will pay the expenses to Mr. Duke, except for his per diem. They will pay the expenses and half of the per diem for Mrs. Baptiste, and they will pay only the accommodation and the expenses on the ground in Dubai to Mr. Lewis. So, as a teacher, we proceeded to procure the ticket for Mr. Lewis. They were to leave on Friday, the 4th of March.
Mr. Augustine said the government agencies in Trinidad were highly disorganized.
On the morning of Friday, the 4th of March, we will then hear from the disorganized organizers in Trinidad that they did not have visas, they did not have tickets available. This is the said Friday, the 4th, that they were supposed to leave Tobago. At this point, Mr. Duke is scheduled to make a presentation in Dubai on the 10th. The country's main display is on the 11th of March. On Saturday the 5th, Saturday morning the 5th, in fact, I had to come out of church where I was on Saturday to deal with the matter along with protocol chief administrator, Mr. Duke, Mrs. Baptiste. Because on the 5th, visas still outstanding for Mr. Duke at this point, still no tickets available, no word. I spoke to the Minister of Trade.
He then spoke of his interaction with Minister of Trade, Paula School.
She herself did not even realize that the Trinidad contingent had not left us yet and that the tickets were not there. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs could not say when the visas would be available. And so the executive took a decision that we would just, because at this point, Mr. Lewis had left on the Friday, because as I indicated, he was responsible we were responsible for getting his ticket to Dubai. So at this point, the executive decided we cannot leave Mr. Lewis alone in Dubai. We need to send the other two. So we took an executive decision that we would just procure the tickets and send Mr. Duke and Mrs. Baptiste to Dubai to meet Mr. Lewis, who was already en route to Dubai since the Friday. On Saturday, Mrs. Baptiste, she had her visa, and so we sent her along on a flight via KLM. This is the same Saturday. Because we weren't getting the visa from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Duke himself had to organize between Saturday and Sunday and got his visa himself. In fact, he got his visa 3 hours before a flight left Piaco.
The Chief Secretary said a request for a refund of monies spent by the Assembly has been sent to the necessary government agencies.
In total, to take the team to Dubai, that cost $178,724.17. $178,724.17 for the 3 to go to Dubai. I will also let you know that if, in fact, we were only paying for Mr. Lewis, then the cost that the THA would have paid would have been $66,916.91. We had to increase our budget because the organizers in Trinidad were extremely disorganized. I have already dispatched communication asking for that refund because we weren't supposed to pay for it.
However, going forward, Mr. Augustine has mandated all divisions to dispatch a press release before THA officials depart Tobago. He said in this instance, a release was dispatched from the Ministry of Trade on the Dubai trip. Elizabeth Williams, TV6 News.
We'll be right back. We're going to go for a short station identification. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAG Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. So here is something quick, right? Wassa was talking that only 16% of the people was getting pipe-borne water, potable water in Trinidad and Tobago, right? Do you all see that? All right, hold on. You all see that, right?
Incidentally, Tuna Puna means upon water.
Yeah. All right. So Tommy and Diana, they said that only 16% of TNT was getting continuous pipe-borne water, right? Wassa said that, right?
Right.
But you know what happened? That was a mistake, you know. Wassa then comes back and said that, you know, right?
They mistakenly spoke the truth.
It was a mistake. Then Wassa come up now with a press release to follow up, right? The mistake that they make. And here's what Wassa said. Wassa said, Wassa clarifies 24/7 water supply.
Right.
In response to a question posed to the authority during the Joint Select Committee, Land and Physical Infrastructure meeting held on the 17th of March 2022 regarding how much population receives 24/7 pipe-borne water supply, the response was 16%. The authority wishes to clarify that this figure represents a snapshot, specifically for the month of February 2022 only. In fact, it is important to note that the service level recorded in February 2024 was an anomaly because an average of the previous 6 months confirmed that 30% of the population received 24/7 pipe-borne water supply. Can you imagine that? All right. 34% of the country, right, in 2022? No. Something wrong, boy.
You know, after that huge outlay for the desal plant and all of that, it's really sad.
Look. Nah, something just ain't right, man. 34%. Well, I mean, you know, they went from 16 to 34, so they double it.
Diana, you heard what I said about Tuna Puna?
Oh, yeah, what is that, Tuna Puna?
Upon water.
Okay, all right.
But when my source here says Puna means a plateau in the Peruvian Andes, a term for altitude sickness.
What it showed is Puna, meaning upon, and then Tuna or Tona is river or water.
But you got to look at the old the Amerindian names and how they derive them for all these places in Trinidad.
I think that's the Amerindian name for it because it referred to Tuna Puna in Trinidad, and so that's the meaning. Upon water or on river, on a river. Is there a river there?
I believe so.
Okay.
So Arari's excited to start his new post.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And here what the guy said that he's in touch. He's closer to the people now.
That's a good thing. So here is this last one, right? We have a situation with Clarence Rambarat, right? So his wife posted something on a social media Facebook page. She said, "Random, not so random thought. If Clarence Rambarat were female and resigned from her job for family reasons, would there be speculation about her real reasons for resigning?" That's it. That's not so random thought, all right? So that was the first post. Then there was a follow-up to that post, right? Which she posted again. But after that one, this one came. So it just seemed like this one came, right? toxic leaders, toxic workplace. Workplace bullies exist because of toxic leadership. I don't know what message she was trying to send, or if she was talking about something else, but I'm not going to read into it, right? Then the last one she put up was this one. And she said, what if the workplace bullying and harassment victim is me? You see that word bullying in there? Make you think.
Yep.
Just make you think.
Yep.
She could be sending a message. She could be talking about something that she's dealing with. She could be talking about something that her husband is dealing with. There's a lot, quite a bit.
In this in this Trinidad environment.
Correct. But I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to speculate. Of course, Jerome Richards came first, right, in the World Indoor Championships, bringing home a gold medal for Trinidad and Tobago. Jerome Richards, congratulations. And it's always good to see, 1.4, 1.3 million people when we have victory at our World Championships. Oh, look, there's one here with property tax. Property tax, the government has received over 200,000 evaluation forms needed to trigger the property tax collection. Property tax coming. Property taxes coming to TNT. All they don't worry, man. If all they own a property, all they gotta pay a lot of money in taxes. I'm telling all you, them small money, all they gotta pay nothing. All they got the money to fix the country now, man. We in this country understand property tax, so
true.
It's not a bad thing. Then we have SORT replacement. SORT is now defunct, replaced by NOTF. Right? Don't I replace things in Trinidad and Tobago? New people come, right? They replace things. And that's like the previous government start something, the new government come in, they start something, and then they get rid of it. Let me say congratulations to the NAPS winner. It's Niall Hossain of Naparima. He won the President's Medal in the gold category for science and mathematics, environmental science, and information communication technology. So congratulations to this young gentleman. Let me see what else I have in the bag here. Right before Imbo said we're not going to the IMF, so all people was thinking we're going to the IMF. Diana, we ain't going to the IMF.
They're going to China.
We're going to the sea, not the I. IMF stands for something else. IMF, International
Monetary Fund.
No, and something else. You can't say it. It's not radio friendly.
Okay.
Like IBM is what?
International.
Incredible Black Man.
I thought it was International Business Machines.
Incredible Black Man.
That used to be that. It used to be that. Okay, so folks, I'm gonna go back. Ulrich, I didn't see you a long time, boy. Ulrich, put closing comments in the chat, Ulrich. I didn't see Ulrich in a while, boy. I know what you do to Ulrich. Huh?
I have no idea.
But I didn't see Ulrich in the chat a long time. What is going on with Ulrich?
I live in the United States. Ulrich lives in Trinidad. I have a wife. Maybe wife got him under heavy manners.
But this has nothing to do with wife. I just asked you a question. What does that have to do with the wife?
You gotta ask she. Maybe she have him under heavy manners.
Oh, all right. Maybe she take away Ulrich's phone.
Take away his laptop. Thank you.
Take away your phone and your laptop. All right. Yeah. Dana said, all right, Dana said, your wife you move all your instruments.
Yeah, she pawn all them empty grapefruit can.
Empty grapefruit can. Them orange juice can, yeah.
She sell them as scrap metal.
Oh, good. All ain't easy, you know. All not easy. Not easy at all. All right, let me see who here. I don't remember who pop quotes last time. Now, let me see. Yeah, I think I have it here. Rajvi. Rajvi was on Gary case tonight, boy. Right, Diana?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. Rajvi will get. Nizam, closing comments. Rajvi, Nizam. Nizam want to know if anybody know if they raise their retirement age is 65. Now, I think they raise it yet, Nizam.
Okay, wait. Before we go, wait. I want to ask them in the chat.
Hold a minute. Let me just tell the people who the probably comments first. So we have Rajvi, Nizam, Nadia. Nizam, Nadia. Oh, I think we had June last time. Hold on there. Run the MC. Whenever you call his name, he doesn't want to pop nothing. No, I don't know. Yeah, Run the MC. And Ulrich. So Rajvi, Nadia, Nizam, Run the MC, and Ulrich. Put closing comments in the chat. Ulrich, you know that DSS man? Send me your number now. You will bring him on the show. Yeah,
but he's telling you if you can get him.
No, I mean, Ulrich had the man number. Ulrich big. Ulrich no small. Grapefruit can Ulrich is beating him. You don't beat no carnation pan. It's not carnation pan he beat. It's grapefruit. Understand? Boy, remember time when we used to make grapefruit juice and orange juice in Trinidad, boy? Remember them time, boy?
Wait a minute. Rajvi says my mom in Florida pays
8,000, maybe 8,000. You mean 80,000?
Can't be 80,000.
It's 8,000. Rajvi mean. Rajvi.
She buying that house all over.
Rajvi, if she paying 80,000, she have a mansion bigger than Mrs. Kamala Prasad Desessa, bigger than Shaquille O'Neal, bigger than LeBron James. No, he mean 8,000. I know he mean 8,000. But 8,000 is small money in property tax.
But in Florida, that's big money.
8,000 in property tax?
In Florida.
Now, in this constitution here, in this community here, 8,000 is small money.
I know that's New Jersey. New Jersey is a much more.
Yeah. But also, let me report our next story here. Let me report this quick story here. This is a breaking story that we all should know about, and it has to do with Chelsea. Chelsea has a person who's trying to buy Chelsea, and one of the companies involved. So this guy from Ghana has put in a multi-billion proposal for Chelsea Football Club. The guy by the name of, in what could be a spectacular turnaround as Chelsea weighed their option, Bernard Antwi Bosaeko, the chairman of One To Me group of companies in Ghana, has submitted a staggering multi-billion proposal to the North London Club. A representative of the newly established African Billionaire Consortium confirmed the submission of the proposal and described it as impressive and exciting. It's the first time an African has stepped up to the table and is offering something quite different from the others, with solid assets and investment that can match any bid so far put forward by the European and American counterpart. He has entered the game as a genuine and serious player. All right. And what's important here to note is that a company by the name of Nevercard, which is a Trinidadian company, is involved in this process. Let me go to that paragraph.
But what's amazing about this whole thing, Anselm, there's so many needs that needs to be satisfied and things that needs to be fixed in the same country that he is from. He can't see that he can invest his money in that. Instead, he's looking to London. He's looking to Europe. What's up? What's wrong with us?
No. But Tommy, I think you ought to understand this though. This is a big play for diversity in soccer across the world. And most of the owners of Premier League teams don't look like you and I.
I know, but is it important that we do?
Yes, absolutely. Soccer is one of the #1 sports in the world. It's played all across Africa. A lot of black people play soccer. Why shouldn't we own a team in? Look at the NFL, for example. It's 70% black, and we don't have one black owner.
I'm not against all that's going on with that. I'm just saying that there's a need for him to develop his country and to develop maybe.
But Tony, but if you buy Chelsea, that will be a vehicle for you to do even more, because Chelsea is a cash cow. Chelsea is one of the top clubs in the world, and I think diversity is important when you're looking at teams. Look at the NFL, man. The NFL, there's 70% black players in the NFL, and we don't have a minority owner.
I guess my focus is different, Anselm. That's all it is.
No, I think this is a great thing if this could happen, and being that a Trinidadian company is involved, it sends a great message to me. And this just says, however, documents submitted by Nevercut, the name of the company is Nevercut, the legal and financial advisor of the Ghanaian has backed up a potential bid with combined asset worth $18 billion. I just think, Tommy, in this thing, diversity is important, and these opportunities don't come around too often, and I think an opportunity like this, is very important in the scheme of things, because very rarely do you get an opportunity to be part of an English League Premier team, especially a team like Chelsea.
If I had that money that he had, I would be looking into investing into that kid who came up with that new car that doesn't need fuel or the electricity setup or the television that doesn't need to be plugged into the electric grid and that kind of thing. I'd be looking to do something really spectacular and to help humanity as a whole instead of messing about.
Tommy, this is something very spectacular, man. This is something beyond. Think about it, man. There are no minority owners in English Premier League.
The invention by the young African kid of the solar car and the television that doesn't need to be powered by AC or DC power, which has its own powering mechanism and all of that. You telling me that
this opportunity will bring more than enough money in order for them to do that? This opportunity will bring more than enough money in order for them to do that.
I'm not going to hold my breath hoping that he'll do that or do anything else, because they don't see the jewels that they search for in their backyard, because that's exactly where it is. You're looking for diamond over the hill when it's right in your yard. All right.
No, we don't understand the big picture in this. This is a big picture in situation. It's just like the NFL. It's just like the NFL, right? NFL, NFL is 70% black players, and we have no minority owners. Zero. Right? Did you see the guy to sue the NFL the other day? Right? He had to sue the NFL because he went for a job knowing that he wasn't going to get the job. Did somebody text the guy ahead of time and told him somebody else got the job? And the NFL team didn't know that he knew he wasn't going to get the job. Can you imagine you going to an interview knowing that you're not going to get the job?
Yeah, because of insider information and all that.
Well,
they just
somebody shared information with him. They thought he was someone else. The person who got the job. Both of them name was Brian. And one body shared information with him, telling him, congratulations on getting the job.
Yeah,
And then when you tell the guy, you talking about another brand, the guy said, "Oops, sorry," but the guy still went to the interview, knowing that he wasn't going to get the job, and he sued the NFL. So they have a lawsuit. They have an antitrust. They have a lawsuit.
Yeah, well, that's in order. That's totally in order, and it's the environment he exists in. So that's what I'm saying is that the African brother with all this money to invest, he has to look for jewels in his backyard.
But Tommy, I hear what you're saying, but these opportunities are once in a lifetime opportunities.
Yeah, also the opportunity on his court too.
But no, that opportunity to invest is not a once in a lifetime opportunity. That opportunity with the guy, he can do that. He can do this and he can do that as well. Because once this team is sold, that's it. Another English Premier team may not come in the market for decades to come.
You know what? Let's say let's just say this, that a world war, he buys the team and a world war breaks out. How long is it going to take before he starts to realize the profit?
But we speculate, man.
Yeah, he's speculating in his purchase also.
Yeah, I mean, he's speculating. But that's what in investment you take risk. But that risk is a good risk. How many people play soccer across this world? Soccer is the number one sport in the world.
Number one sport in the world. I fully agree.
Yeah, it's the number one sport in the world. Why wouldn't you want to own something where it's the number one sport in the world? I would want to be part of that.
I hear you loud and clear. I'm thinking differently. I'm just thinking that you want to do things to better yourself and your generations to come.
But Tom, that's going to better himself and his generation.
Yeah, I agree. Except that
he's going to make money. He's going to make money.
It reaches further when you do things that are, as you always say, transformational.
No, Tommy, let me tell you this, right? They have other people who own football teams, basketball teams, right? Soccer teams. You know what they do? You know the amount of things they do in the communities? You know why? Because of all the money that they are making. That they could do these things in the communities. They could better communities. Because there's so much money. Look at the World Cup, man. Look at the FIFA. Look how much money FIFA makes, man. Ask Jack Warner. Jack Warner can tell you.
Hello.
FIFA makes billions of dollars, and FIFA don't have to answer to no one. They are the organization unto themselves. They don't have to answer to no one. So imagine if you own an English Premier League team. You are part of an owner in that. You know how much money you can make. You know how much things you can do for your community, your country. Not only that, but to me, diversity is very important.
I'm just thinking differently. I mean, I have no problem with investing in sport, except that should come after you do some fabulous things for your people and for your environment. You know. Anyway.
But how can you, Tommy? Don't you need money in order to do those things?
But he has the money. He has the money, and
Tommy. When you're rich, the goal is to make more money. The goal is to make more money. And for them, if they make more money, then they can do more things with the money that they make. I mean, to me, Tony, I don't understand. I don't understand why we would not want someone to be the first in an instance like an English Premier team.
And then Tommy, go on invest in it then, Tommy.
Because Heidi saying
the magnitude of investment is going to take to change the world with that new invention by this African youth is what he has. I don't have that magnitude of investment to do that. If I did,
but Tommy, that's going to need an investment, right? And to me, if this guy wins the bid, Chelsea's like a cash cow. Right? He's now global. He's now in the global marketplace. Right? So
marketing the invention to the globe would also be a very spectacular investment. Anyway.
Okay, so Rajvi, Nizam, Nadia, Run DMC, and Ulrich. Let's see my boy Alice coming. Alice, how you going, partner? Alice just come in. Yeah. Nizam, again. Rajvi, Nizam, Nadia, Run DMC, and Ulrich. For closing comments.
Yeah, I wanted to pose a thing to them, answer a poll.
Go ahead. Yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
Guys, let me put up my, they seeing me? Okay. I am close to the end of the scholarship that was given to me. So as part of it, I have to produce an anthology of poems up to and inclusive of the names. Now I have the poems. So I am going to put it in the chat, the names and that I have, and you all could give me a vote. I'll take the 10, the one that gets 10 count first. Right? The names I have. I have number 1, En Masse. Number 2, Once Upon a Pandemic.
But Diana.
Number 3, wait a minute. Inner Thoughts. And number 4, Rhyme and Verse. Which one? I'm trying to get a poll as to which one I should go with the name for my Inner Thoughts. Go ahead, Anselm, I'm listening.
You put it in the chat, right?
Yeah.
Put it in the WZYE chat too.
I'll put it in the chat. Rhyme and Verse.
You put it in the WhatsApp chat. The WhatsApp chat.
No, yeah, I'll put it in the WhatsApp chat, but I'm putting it in W.
Yeah, put it in the WhatsApp chat. Put it in the WhatsApp chat as well.
Yeah, but some people are not in the WhatsApp chat are here. Okay,
No,
1,
put it
1 En Masse, 2, Once Upon a Pandemic, 3, Inner Thoughts, 4, Rhyme and Verse.
Okay.
Rhyme and Verse. Okay. So pick which one, just say 1, 2, 3, or 4. You think I should name my anthology, which is going to be published with my thesis. 5, Woke. Yeah, Raj, woke. Okay, I done get 1 for number 1 already.
No, Highly said that's a scam. Why will this such a big money making club anthem? You see, Highly, it's not a scam. What it is that the Russian own the club and he have to liquidate his assets. And they have to decide, they have to sell it. Right? And they told him that he had to sell it. He don't have a choice. So he's selling it. And they taking bids and they have accepted, they have shortlisted 6 people with respects to the bids. Right? So it's not really a scam. It's not a scam. It's real.
Okay, so far I have 3 for 1. 1 for 3. What say you, Tommy? En masse, once upon a time, pandemic, inner thoughts, or rhyme and verse?
I like unmasked.
En masse, okay. The name of my anthology I'm trying to choose, Rennie Mohammed. Wamti, you ain't no fig tonight or what?
Oh.
I have to name a book. So those are the 4 names that are in play. So I'm trying to get a poll going as to which is the better name for my anthology, which I want to be used in the school curriculum in the Caribbean. So years from now, they will go pick up Diana Benskin's book. And so we want a nice name now. Somebody like En masse.
So I'm going to give my closing comments. In the words of MLK, your life ends the day you remain silent about things that matter. Your life ends the day you remain silent about things that matter. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall, so that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. See you. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. Closing comments, Tony?
Every day, think as you wake up. Today, I'm fortunate. I have woken up. I am alive. I have a precious human life. I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use all my energies to develop myself, to expand my heart out to others. I'm going to benefit others as much as I can. Pleasant night to each and everyone. It's been a pleasure being in the village as usual. We have to hold fast to life and pray for those who are in jeopardy, especially those out in Ukraine. Pleasant night. See you guys Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Go ahead, Anna.
Okay, I just want to say, most people don't want to be part of the process. They just want to be part of the outcome. But the process is where you figure out who is worth being part of the outcome. That's your poet's contribution for tonight. Global Ambassador saying good night and be safe, everyone. So
Yeah,
far,
Ellis.
only have.
Yeah, Ellis, but you reach any program done.
Anselm, which one is you? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
1, 2, 3, or 4.
I have to hand this off by Monday, that's why.
Once upon a pandemic.
Once upon a pandemic. Okay. I have 5 for that so far.
But you see
other
now,
sources.
No. We're gonna leave on this one. Now Hailey says, Ansem, please, you have more sense than that. Sell a club doing a war, please. You see, Hailey, you really don't understand. You don't. All right, now. Let me leave it. But you don't have all the information. Let me put it that way. I just put it that way. You don't have a lot of information.
Got another one for 2. Right. Somebody said they like inner thoughts, Rennie.
Okay, so Nizam says, my closing comments, we must be more open-minded to learn, think out of the box, trust the Almighty, and be innovative and try to work around the system, be safe, and God bless. Yeah, thank you, Nizam. I don't see any other closing comments, though. I don't see any other
we all want people on the same sun, peace, and love to everyone. Rennie Mohammed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't see anyone else.
Rennie likes inner thoughts. Inner thoughts is number 3.
Oh, here's Nadia closing comments. Blessed night to everyone in the village. I would like to thank God for the day and the night. Till we meet again, please stay strong.
Well, so far, number 2, the people I've polled, number 2, once upon a pandemic, because it seems to be beating out. Because in the future, they'll be like, well, what is this all about, this pandemic? So I'm trying to record history even in the title of the poem. So Those were my four. But Once Upon a Pandemic seems to be outnumbering in all my polls I'm doing.
So Rajvi says, good night, everyone, and be safe. 2 years after COVID, we are still here. Remember how bad things get. Remember, God will always be there. Thank you, Rajvi. I think that's it.
What you going out with tonight?
Let me see what I have here. I had Trinidad and Change by Chocolates.
You know, Capiza, Once Upon a Time in the West, Charles Bronson, Henry Fonda. No, it has to be a poet. It's a poetry book. Oh, Lord, Father God, rest our hands. You see me naming a book that I slept.
What's that? What's it
Once Upon a Time in the West, Charles Bronson and Henry Fonda.
Like Capiza one that?
Yeah, number two seems to be outnumbered. Huh? Django Nine. Capiza like he smoke a piece of bad weed or something.
A man who won the Calypso Monarch on about 4 occasions. Just recently, he went across to one of the states in the USA to further his studies, working towards his PhD. Former school teacher at Nucarapo Senior Comprehensive. The man say, Trinidad ain't changed. Sit back, relax, put your hand together. Welcome on stage, school teacher, Hollis Liverpool, the mighty. Hey, line. Hey, line.
A friend of mine who left here in 1962. He came back home last month looking so blue. After 29 years away, he found Trinidad change, he said. He said he couldn't even make out Maracas Bay. Chalky, where is tourist Annie? What happened to Butler Patty? What about the POPPG and DLP? I told the visitor, we just changed names down here, but Trinidad is still the same way. Your beach at Maracas with change rooms when you were here last. Robbie put them in Tobago at Stop Bay. But Lordy Rabble Rouser gave way to Abu Bakr. Both end up in jail in Carrera. Partner, your party POPBG is now NAR completely. DLP changed the name to UNC. Trinidad and change, the country just rearranged. Trinidad and change, the country just rearranged. Am I wrong? What I do, did I do? What I did, I do. I say tourist Annie, she does still dress up for so. But now she on stage singing calypso. Then he asked me for composer, conqueror, power and mighty bomber. I said he talk about capside and they get lashed with rudder. Chalky where all them prostitutes go, where Bar John Gold Teeth and Baron, where is Crazy Mahal, John Craig and Cuthbert Britain. I say, we still have Cuthbert here, they in the Coast Guard, cutting is the custom in that Coast Guard, and them regiment boys like they're feeding them on custard. Mad Mahal and Russia, who spoke madness in Woodford Square, move over to the Red House to talk madness there. Prostitutes like Jean and Dinah, Bubble-ups and Bengal Tiger. They are now Mrs. Clark and Mrs. Doris Mark in Federation Park. Bad Johns like Cutouter, Eddie Bumlin, Axe and Dana. Hand over to the school children, they gun and razor. Trinidad and change, the country just rearranged. It may look strange. Trinidad and change, the country just rearranged.